good. We're recording. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Hi, Michael.
We're just jumping in.
Hi, Jesse.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you for
surviving.
The apparel, the tables.
We're all, all I hear is us breathing.
I know.
Yes,
Wrestling shirts went over well, huh?
You look very handsome in it. Yeah, too well. A little too well.
Too well?
Yeah.
It's never a bad thing.
But yeah, they went very well.
What sold more, Hulk Hogan or Macho Man?
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
In yellow, surprisingly.
It should.
It's surprising.
It should.
I was trying to think of an Ultimate Warrior design, but it's tough because with the Macho Man, I was able to rip his face out of the sunglasses and throw the dumbbell in. Ultimate Warriors, you're ripping off a little too much. Hulkamania is just font.
I did the Ultimate Warrior Beethoven.
I know, but what am I gonna do?
Just steal it from Mike.
Like Ultimate Warrior, like putting Tren in his arm for fitness. Like, I don't know. I mean, everybody knew him for that, but what are you supposed to do?
He was so bad that they thought there were multiple.
What wrestler wasn't
Yes.
on steroids?
1, 2, 3 Kid, probably.
But no, he wasn't.
You
No,
called
yes, he
him
was.
the
Yeah,
1, 2,
but
3
probably
Kid.
when he was X-Pac. He was definitely not on roids when he was 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Yes. Well, no, he probably
What
was.
about Doink?
Doink was totally on the gas.
Do you think?
He had to be. Are you cracking another Saturday?
Yeah, thank you.
Georgie Animal.
Cheers.
Georgie Animal Steele's never taken any kind of.
Cheers, Jesse.
Yeah.
Whatever, Jesse.
Is vodka.
Jesse didn't want to join me in Saturdays.
You have to at least have one. They're not bad. They're probably better than the Tahiti beer you had.
That was pretty fucking bad. It didn't taste like anything. This is vodka, though. It's better. On a mug. Why are you just staring at my glass now?
I don't know.
It's very large.
You've done a shitload of things before you got into fitness, because you were in bands.
I was.
And you did journalism for a while, didn't you?
I did.
You got to who did you interview? Did you interview Clutch?
I did.
I know. I was always
I love
jealous of
Clutch.
that.
I smoked a lot of pot with Clutch on their tour bus.
You just went on the tour bus with them?
Yeah, outside of BAM's. I can say that on this podcast that I smoked pot with Clutch. Right?
We are not affiliated with anything, and we can do whatever the fuck we want.
My clients are very okay with that. So we went to BAM's club in wherever. What is that?
Westchester?
Westchester, yeah.
Before
it shut
Jesse
down.
calls it.
Bestchester.
And the ride down was a hoot.
How did you get into doing journalism, though? Were you writing for a magazine or a blog?
So I was writing for Decoy Music. It's defunct now. My friend Chris Pandolfo, who was a local drummer from the area, wrote for him, and he got me hooked up with him and just started getting banged in with it. And I was obsessed with Clutch. Still am. They're touring with Hatebreed.
Ooh.
And Dropkick. It's going to be fucking crazy.
They're probably going to come around here, won't
Yeah,
they?
they're coming to Philly, yeah.
Crocodile might be having them.
Joe Clark.
That building,
I punched Joe
doesn't
Clark in
exist
the face once.
Oh, good for you.
But so they I asked if it was usually just ask if it was coming to the area, and if they had the strings to pull, they'd pull a string. So they got me in there, and I remember the bus, they had the tour bus out front. Clutch's tour bus was out front of BAM's club, and when you walked in, it was so like cinematic, like the dudes from CKY, like the actual band CKY, and Jackass were on the bus, acting like assholes, of course. And then we went,
because that was like at the prime of all that stuff.
In the height,
and that was like kind of when Clutch did the one video they used some of the Jackass guys in.
Well, it was when it was right when Robot Hive Exodus came out. Yeah, and that was like the peak of when they started coming a little more mainstream.
Yep.
And I remember they took us to the back. The drummer took us to the back of the bus, and there was this mason jar that was seriously like hip height, just stacked with like the purplest buds ever. I'm like trying to interview him, and I was like just staring at this, and afterwards we were done. He just looked at us and he said, "Do you guys wanna?" And before he could even finish it, we both went, "Yep, whatever you say." And he asked us if we wanted to just drink a beer, and I was real bummed out that he didn't ask us to smoke pot.
Oh, so you didn't get to smoke with him?
And he saw the disappointment on my face, and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I thought you were gonna ask us to smoke some of that bud right over there." And he was like, "Well, let's go, man." So then we smoked pot with like half a Clutch and fucking stupid BAM and some of the other idiots. So it was cool.
Was that after the interview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my buddy got kicked out
of the show.
Yeah.
Who else did you get to interview?
I interviewed Dropkick. I interviewed Bouncing Souls.
How was Dropkick?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cool, but it was definitely like short.
Yeah.
They're like, who the fuck are you? Where are you from? Like, it was definitely one of those things. Bouncing Souls was fun, especially because they're tattooed on me. Boy Sets Fire.
Did you Bouncing Souls like your favorite band?
Favorite punk band, probably.
Is that the I know there's a story that you went to see them for the first time and got thrown out because of a misunderstanding?
Probably. I feel like that can go to a lot of shows.
Yeah.
What is that?
I thought you went to a show, and you went there, and you're like, "Oh my god, I got to see them." And then you saw the opening band, and then right before they came on, you got thrown out because somebody else got into a fight.
That was Hatebreed.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the first time I was able to see Hatebreed.
And right at the beginning of Hatebreed, you got tossed, and they wouldn't let you back in.
I got booted. Yeah.
Who threw you out? The security or Hatebreed?
Croc Rock.
Oh,
dude, they would
Fabio.
violently. I would go up there. I would go up to Croc Rock, blacked out, and we'd go to Allentown. And if I went to Croc Rock, I only knew I was at Croc Rock because I would be choked and then put in an alley. I would know I was at Banana Joe's because they would pick me up by my arms and be like, "All right, buddy," and then they'd sit me out in a parking lot. And then I'd be like, "Oh, I'm in Allentown."
My office used to be right next to Croc Rock.
Okay.
So
it's Crocodile Rock.
Croc Rock. So I remember I got to meet a lot of the bands because their outside area, that's my parking lot.
Yeah.
So I remember I think it was Static X, and I was late, and I said, "Oh man, I didn't get tickets for the thing yet or whatever," and I met them earlier in the day, so they opened up all the doors and started playing songs. So then I sat there and I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna fucking stand here."
When they would open up the side gates, that was when Croc was fun.
Yeah. So they opened up the side, and I watched him, and I was like, I got to meet him and do all that stuff, and then I didn't get over there yet, so they opened up the outside area, and they had like these fucking barriers or something put up. So I just pulled my fucking Jeep in and stopped and got out and just sat there. And the security guard came over and he's like, "You're not allowed to go here, buddy. You got to get out of here."
You were like the older kid pulling up to the high school after he graduated.
Still rocking the Letterman's vest.
No, I just told him, I said, I go, "No, like my office is right here." And he goes, "No, man, you're going to have to move your car." And I go, "Fuck you, pay my rent. Like, I pay rent for this fucking building. I'm going to park here. It's not my fault you leave the fucking side of the building open." And he was like, "No, you're really going to have to go." And I was like, "Oh, they're really going to have to fucking move me." And then the other security guard was like, "No, he's okay. That's the bail guy." So everybody knew me. So then they were just like, "Fuck that, you can come in." So I just jumped the fence and went in. I saw so many fucking shows there. But no, I was not a fan of the owner.
So if I'll tell this in like a minute and a half, but I punched Joe Clark in the face.
Yeah,
Isn't Joe Clark like the teacher from Lean on Me? Am I not right?
Like the actual Joe Clark? Or
yeah.
I don't know where he is anymore.
Morgan Freeman? Joe
I know
Clark?
exactly where he is.
Well, he's not still in the Valley, right?
Huh?
Is he still here in the Valley?
Yeah.
Well, because, he sold Crocodile Rock for a lot of money.
Yeah, he's still around.
Well, he owes property, but I thought his daughter ran the properties.
Yes. Yeah.
I had to run it with her, too, one time.
So my band.
So Joe Clark owns Crocodile Rockadile.
Well, did.
It's not. No one's is not picking up. It's not Rockadile. You're trying to make it a thing.
That is the name of
Crocodile Rock. I believe Billy Joel sang about that.
Crocodile Rockadile.
So my band at the time, Judy Rose, we were playing in the basement, and there was this band, He Is Legend.
I forgot they had floors to that place.
Do you remember how awesome that was back then when you could go downstairs and
they had
like
the 80s
a bunch
room.
of shows?
Yeah.
It was so fucking good.
God damn it, Nick.
What was that?
I don't know.
I just hope something didn't break of his. Oh, the bear fell. Whatever.
So we were playing downstairs. We were like one of the headlining bands downstairs while He Is Legend was upstairs. And we started right before He Is Legend, and my buddies were dancing, or moshing as they call it. And my buddy's shoe flew off, and one of my best friends, while we're playing, I was watching this transpire, and one of my best friends picked the shoe up and went to hand it back to him. And the big Samoan bodyguard, everybody knows who that is from Croc Rock, was like, "Don't you goddamn dare throw that in there." And my buddy was like, it's his. And he fucking just threw it back. And he took my best friend's head and slammed it against the pole that was right in front of him.
They were super violent.
And a melee broke out. And the next thing you know, so this is like 2-3 days after my father beat cancer. And my father was there watching us play. Well, try and play. And Joe Clark came down in the middle of this fucking breakout. And Joe Clark shoved my father, who had just beaten cancer.
Oh, no.
And I fucking didn't even hesitate, man. I locked and loaded, and I fucking cracked him right in the jaw. And the security guard separated us, and the dude looked at me, and he was like, what the fuck was that for? And I said, dude, my dad just beat cancer. And he's like, all right, man, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And I didn't get in any trouble for it.
Well, it doesn't matter, because he openly told me the one day, he was doing, I was outside, and he was doing something or whatever, and he was talking, and the owner of my building was there. And he was just like, hey, you come by the show tonight? And I go, yeah, I didn't get tickets. I didn't get them yet or whatever. And he was like, just stop by, man. Everybody knows, whatever, whatever. We had a lot of mutual friends. So he said, just come by. All right, Joe, thanks, whatever. And he was like, yeah, do you ever think about coming and doing some security work over here? And I go, no. I said, I had friends that the security drug them out in the back alley and like broke their orbitals and stuff like that, like, and choked them out.
I know people that sued,
and a lot of people sued
that shit.
And he goes, yeah, we got a lot of cold cockers on our payroll.
Jesus.
And I go,
who calls them that?
Why would you hire people just to come in and punch people and drag them out?
Yeah.
That's what I did.
One of my really good friends was a security guard there, and I always feel like that guy when I go, yeah, he was probably the only one that didn't do that. But when I say that, my buddy he was always just like, I don't want to fucking be involved in this. Yeah. Because he was like one of us. He was a hardcore kid, and he just was like, I understand that this shit happens. You know what I mean? I don't want to get involved in this.
Well, you should. Yeah, you should. It didn't have to be that way.
I probably deserve to get kicked out of there a lot, though.
Every time I'm not saying that every time I was there, I shouldn't have been asked to leave. I'm just
surprised you haven't been kicked out of here tonight yet.
I'm just saying that they
it's early.
They always were violent about it.
They were.
Or like Banana Joe's did the same thing, and they were just like, hey man, you got to go.
Banana Joe's.
Banana Joe's was fun too.
Yep.
Sterling was fun.
Oh, Sterling was my favorite place.
We got outside a huge fight there,
dude,
too.
Sterling's bad now, though. That whole area is just not.
Yeah, Catch 22, all that shit.
Well, one of my buddies doing security work there, and like they're not allowed to do anything. Yeah. So and the people know it, which is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So the kid walked up to him, just spit in his face, and he was like, "Really?" And he goes, yeah. He's like, what the fuck are you going to do? And he's like, you're leaving the club now. So he went to grab him, and he pulled a fucking knife on him.
Oh, Jesus.
So one of the other security guards decided he was just going to start pepper spray the whole fucking audience. Well, it doesn't go away. You pepper spray an area.
Yeah, no.
It literally stays in the air. So everybody was like running out of the club and all that shit. And then another time he was there, and he kicked a guy out. The guy pulled a knife on him. He, got his baton out, and he was like just afraid because he's like, what do I do?
Like a marching
And the other people
baton?
are going, fucking hit him. He's got a knife. So he ended up going, and the guy came to go, and he hit him with the baton, and then the guy tried to sue him.
Could you imagine getting hit by a baton?
It hurts so bad.
I have.
Dude, that area was the
phased.
shit back in the day. Like, the freight yard was open back in the day, too. Like, yeah, Banana Joe's, the freight yard, which was right behind all that shit.
Yeah.
I still remember Stars nightclub.
Holy shit.
I saw the Ramones.
That's a little before my time.
The Ramones 3 times Stars nightclub. That was the first concert I ever went to. I was like 15 or 16. And I walked in, and I'm like,
that was like 11.
Yeah, I go, what's happening here? And it was like half the room were just skinheads, and the other half were just normal people, and the skinheads were just bowing through fucking everybody. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
Yeah, I remember I walked into the freight yard with my brother. I saw my first concert. It was Rusted Root and the Allman Brothers.
Oh.
And then the very next day, I just turned 14. The very next day, it was Boyce's Fire, Fugazi, American Nightmare, and Snapcase at the freight yard. And
Snapcase, New York,
Buffalo.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
Yeah,
Baby. Bill's Mafia. Bill's Mafia.
I met him. When I lived in New York City, we brought in a roommate because we all had to be students or something. Yeah. And he was just like, yeah, I know some hardcore stuff. And he looked like the biggest dork in the world. And he never listened to any music. He goes, I know some stuff. He's like, do you ever have a band called Snapcase? And I go, yeah, I have a bunch of their albums right over there. And he goes, would you like to meet them? I said, sure. They came into town. And I was like, how the fuck do you know these people?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're like a seminal hardcore band.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to hardcore. And now my life is ruined.
Because of hardcore?
Yeah, hardcore ruined my life. I say that all the time. My knees are shot. I've had arthritis. Since
Tree
I'm a
work
teenager.
ruined my life.
do you care to go into that a little bit? Because out of context.
Like doing tree work, like my back shot. They would always say, like, hey, don't try and like pick that up by yourself.
Like you were a logger?
Yeah, like
I worked a lumberjack.
I worked for Northeast Tree Works. Okay. I guess I would be considered I was like a ground guy.
Did you ever watch those logger shows back in the day? where they did like, it was like the History Channel followed around all those loggers.
Yeah. With the guy with like
some
the
of them
missing
were
tooth.
like water loggers. I'm pretty sure most loggers have missing teeth.
Yeah.
Axemen. Was it
Axemen.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
that show was wild.
Yeah. No, I did
I have
tree
to go
work.
down a rabbit hole and watch that again sometimes.
Did tree work and just like didn't listen to anything and picked up everything with my back and not my knees.
Well, yeah. Ropes and hooks, man. Ropes and hooks. So I tell everybody when they're lifting, here's a little fitness segue. Whenever you're picking something up off the floor, stand up with your legs, ropes and hooks. Ropes, hooks, stand up. That's it. It's that simple. Don't use your back. Squeeze your belly, squeeze your butt.
I've heard people tell me to not pick up with my back my entire life, and I think I've only done it once to where I was like, oh,
this makes sense.
that happened. Any other time, like, fuck my back.
Yeah, no.
So what got you out of journalism?
What did get me stopped from doing that? Probably like partying too much.
Yeah.
It just was, well, when I had broken up with my girlfriend that we both know.
Yes.
And I moved back. Hold on, let's both drink to that.
Huh.
And I'm, Jesse doesn't want to touch on that one. And I moved back home to Caddy. It was just too much for me to do because I was too busy going to Pigpen a lot, and and doing white hip hop. We're just all white dorks thinking that we could rap.
Oh, that's right. You got into hip. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, we were all right.
Yeah.
We got called One Direction a lot when we played shows.
Ooh.
Oh, you guys actually did shows.
Yeah,
I thought you
dude.
guys just fucked around.
No, I made more money off of like a handful of like hip hop shows than I did in the last hardcore band I played in for like 2 years.
Oh my God.
We played some show in Strasbourg. We opened up for some chick that just got signed by Mary J. Blige, that's my boo right there. Mary J's fucking, I love Mary J. I remember they pulled us up on stage and they were laughing at us. And it was sold out. It was an insane show at the Sherman. And they said, here comes One Direction. And I was like, yo, what the fuck, man? And next thing you know, like a song in, like people were on the stage, like singing along to our songs that they never heard. There's wild video of it. And it was cool vibes. But yeah, it was just, the journalism was fun. Here's a really cool segue. I want to start doing it again. I'm reaching out to my connects because I want to start using, I don't want to look like such a dumb influencer on Instagram. Like I want to continue to be as genuine as possible. So music's my first passion over fitness.
I always wondered why you stopped because I always
Yeah.
thought that was like, I was always like, man, he got to interview so many cool bands.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many more.
Do you play an instrument or what do you do? Or you sing?
So I was mainly the vocalist. I'm a fifth generation musician. And then saxophone, piano, accordion, drums, a little bit of guitar, a little bit of bass. But I'm very shitty at every single one of them. I screamed into a mic. For
Was
like
it your
13
father?
years.
Who was
Yeah,
a
my
musician?
father. Yeah, my father. My
You're super
biological
close
father.
with your dad. You guys are like best friends.
Yeah, I have two dads.
Okay.
I mean, not in the sense that most people would think that I
Like the
have two
TV
dads.
show.
My two dads. Hell of a show.
Like I'm a product of divorce.
They always had like the car couch. Should get that for down here.
But yeah, my father's nuts. He'll get drunk and heavily medicated and listen to a little too much Willie Nelson and then
But you
play
could
his
definitely-
Willie
accordion.
Nelson. Oh, I love
You could definitely see
He's a
like
national
you.
treasure.
You
And
guys,
Willie we trust.
You guys share a lot of the same passions, like
we do.
music and
Harleys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he get you into riding as well?
He did. He doesn't understand fitness. That's my dad. That's my stepdad. I don't call him my stepdad. That's my dad though.
Yeah.
My father's like, the fuck do you want to do that shit for? You're an idiot.
It's a lot of heavy lifting.
You're an idiot. Yeah, my father's a hippie biker, which is
Not
a
a-
contradiction in itself, but
Yeah.
he's peace.
Yeah,
love,
but back
love.
then it was fucking Easy
Yeah.
Rider. They were fucking hippies.
Yeah. I mean, and his whole garage door is Easy Rider centerfolds
Yeah,
from David
see?
Mann. But yeah, he doesn't get it. I tried getting it. I mean, I just got him into fitness to help fix his hips. He bought a brand new pair of Chucks, so he could like have flat feet when he lifts and shit. He has no idea what he's talking about. So. Pretty cool. I'm like, all right, Dad, you're doing good, man.
So how was it growing up having like musical influences, and like was it something that was always a part of the family? Was that playing music, or was it till you got older, or like?
When I That was heavy in my breath in the mic. So when I would go to my father's house on the weekends, it was heavy music. Always heavy music. Not so much at my mother's house, unless I brought music home with me. Music at my main house growing up was only there if I let it be, which was often, obviously. But when I would go to my father's, we were jamming, or like we'd go to friends' houses, or even if it was like we'd go to like the Laurel Hotel growing up and things like that. Like he would take me to VFWs and play in a jukebox and like listen to him play shit like David Allan Coe and Willie, of course. And like Jethro Tull and Thin Lizzy, and like growing up on a ton of that stuff. And then I'd go home to my stepbrother, and he'd be like, "Yo, check out Beastie Boys and Nas and Rakim and Big L." And then
that explains.
My mom would be like, "Listen to Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson."
Yeah, but no, like I said, I don't like people that only like one kind of music.
I listen to everything, man.
Yeah, you have to,
except for like EDM bullshit. But I listen to everything.
Even some of that I can get into. It just gets, it's just kind of stupid. But I mean, as far as like when I went to school, which was hilarious because it was in downtown New York City, so we had a bunch of people that were like musicians that played guitar and did all this stuff. So they're trying to get there to learn recording and learn how to do their own shit and learn new tricks and techniques, because all of our teachers were, hey, I recorded fucking Jimi Hendrix and the fucking Eagles and all, like they were all big time guys.
Yeah.
So they try to steal information from them and do all this stuff. And they were super cool guys.
Where'd you go to school in New York?
Institute of Audio Research.
Okay.
Which was NYU back then. But
because I went to SAE.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously,
we
talked about
But yeah, it was cool. But then, like one of my teachers was best friends with Typo Negative, and one of their managers and one of their producers, and it was like you would sit there and these guys would come in, and then you would have the hip hop guys, and it was funny because everybody would like, the open thing was if you needed to know how someone did something on a record, any one of those teachers could figure it out and let you know, and so you could use that in your music.
Yeah.
Every single hip hop dude would just come in and go, "Yo, I want you to look at this," and they're like, "It's sampling." No, like, you don't understand. He goes, "Trust me, it's a sample. Like, you guys don't have any fucking talent. Stop bringing in samples." And it was like this huge rift right down the thing. And it's like, just stop saying we don't have any talent. He's like, "Listen, this is a musician school, like how to record stuff. I'll teach you how to record. But if you want to talk about making music, that shit's not making music. You're stealing music."
But it is, man.
It is to an extent. And and towards the end, a couple of them kind of shifted, and they were like, "All right, not every idiot can do this."
Like A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
Like Dilated Peoples.
But see, the best one.
Dilated Peoples is so good.
But the best bands that do that have instruments.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, when you see Tribe live, or you see like
people playing
J5, like the Roots, you know what I mean? Like, but like a tribe put sampling on the map. Yeah. I mean, for that 90s boom bap sound. I mean, of course, like there's the whole 80s vibes too, but
that was
Tribe took it to a whole other level.
But yeah, a couple of the teachers shifted, but they were like, "You know what? But everybody is good."
Q-Tip's a goddamn genius.
Yeah. But it was super awesome, but they always said like everybody was there, and it was such a weird influence of people that you had to listen to everybody. Like there was no like, if you only listen to one kind of music, you would have failed. Like, because if they would say, they go, "What do you listen to?" "Oh, I listen to this." And they're like, "Okay, cool, you're doing country today." Well, no, I don't really know. No, you need to know how country music sounds. You need to know how this is. And they'll be like, "Oh, look, this guy, you play guitar, you're rock. Okay, good. Now you're gonna do like reggae, because now you need to nerd about that."
A ton of Alabama lately.
Yeah.
Speaking of country,
but I love all this stuff.
Who's the Hattanucci guy? Alan Jackson.
Alan Jackson.
Chattahoochee.
Yeah. Do you guys listen to that?
I like Alan Jackson a lot.
He's okay.
Man.
Yeah.
I do. But anyway, I wanted to...
There you go. He's just going to throw it away.
I wanted to write... I want to start writing music reviews again and start incorporating that into my Instagram and like, because fucking social networking. But I want to start...
We got shot.
Incorporating that into all my stuff. So that's actually a pretty good transition for that, because music was a huge piece of my life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, like, there's so many people in the fitness industry that are talking about wanting to be influencers, and it's just so fake and corny.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking stand it. And I want to try and continue to be as much
but
of me as possible.
You always come off genuine, because no matter...
but there's still parts that like aren't fake, but I'm not showing everything.
Yeah. But it's also difficult to do that on social media.
Well,
Sometimes I
chastised.
have a tough time when I'm like, sometimes I don't want to be on social media and I don't want to be posting stuff and I don't want to be open. But then I got people be like, hey man, you all right? You're not on your stories. And I'm just like, dude, I don't want to. Like, yeah, it's fun fucking around on there, but sometimes I'm having a bad fucking day.
Yeah.
I have super fucking ups and I have super fucking downs. Like, and when I'm super fucking down, I don't want to
those
get
ups
on
and downs, man. That's when like I'll post something that I think is supposed to be like an outreach and like a help, and then like somebody will say something stupid, and it's usually like a close friend, and I'm just like, this motherfucker. Like, you have no idea where my head is at on this right now. And I'll be like, delete. No, I don't delete. Delete 2 hours later. Delete. No, I don't delete. It's fucking, Instagram's crazy, man. I just got blocked for liking too much. I got a shadow ban for 48 hours because I liked too many posts.
Because they think you're a bot or something?
Right. And I'm just like, nah, bro. Like, I'm trying to hustle. Like, I'm trying to do my thing here. I have to pee so bad.
Go pee.
All right.
Just talk amongst yourselves.
That's what happens when
the topic is
when you
urinating.
Have, a bunch of natty lights. I've been good with not having to do the bathroom breaks. You don't normally have to get up to go. You usually hold it.
No, I didn't do anything. I just pounded a bunch of...
You also got that new chair. You cut a hole in the bottom.
It's
you
like
put a bucket underneath you. Who was it? Andy asked if the bathroom was over there, and I told him there was a bucket.
You told him in the corner.
There was a bucket in the corner, and if it was shit, he had to dump it out the window. He looked at me. He thought I was serious.
By the way, the Nick DiPaolo show was canceled or postponed.
Dude, I worked late, and it would have taken everything in my power to go, and then I would have had, like, today sucked, and I'm glad I went to bed early. I wouldn't have been able to get through today on a couple hours of sleep, but then I thought if I would have went out there half asleep, stuck it out, and then it canceled, and I didn't even get to see Andy.
It was good. Like I said, there was me thinking like, oh, Andy will probably get here early, like get himself comfortable, do a bunch of stuff. Nope. About 5 minutes before the door is supposed to open, Andy walks up with like jeans and a sweatshirt on. Like, hey, here he is, ready to go. And
I wish he would have wore a suit.
And I thought,
our friend was supposed to open, the guy who we had on last week, supposed to open it for Nick DiPaolo.
Oh, nice.
And I was gonna go, but I worked super late, and then I had to work early today, and I knew I had to get like a specific amount of sleep. So I was like, I can't go, and I felt
you were
bad.
being responsible for once.
Yeah, I'm like kind of growing up. And then he went, and then
it's really weird.
It got fucking postponed. And I was like, dude, if I would have like mustered up, went, and actually been there, and then still got home late because it was fucking canceled, I would have been pissed.
I'm like instantly warmer now that I took a pee. You ever have to pee so bad you start shivering?
Yeah. Usually we used to drink. We'd get a case of beer.
Yeah.
And we'd go down to the Phillies games before they redid the stadium. And my buddy, we would drink the whole way down, and we'd have to hold our piss. And then if there was like a line for the game, we would just drive by it all.
The worst is when you're on a fucking school kill.
Ugh.
We were on our way down to a Saves the Day show, I think, and my buddy pissed in the bottle and threw it onto oncoming traffic, and a fucking tractor trailer hit it, and there was piss all over the place.
Did it come back onto your car?
It was all over. It was all over, man. It was all over.
Yeah, those days were awesome. That was so long ago. We used to go to the Phillies games, and Kevin would ask for the ticket stubs when people would be coming out, and then we'd go in like the 7th inning because it was just paper tickets. It wasn't all electronic.
You fucking get loaded in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And
now it's like
watch some baseball.
Fucking security out the ass and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did we go there for? Something. There was something going on at the concert or something, and they were.
Probably Alan
They
Jackson,
were driving around and
Chattahoochees.
Were you down at the Chattahoochees?
Not in Philly.
Chattahoochees.
Alan Jackson's coming around to Philly soon, by the way. In case you want to go, Jesse.
I would go to one. I bet you there's a lot of hot chicks going.
I'm taking my daughter to her first concert, to Miranda Lambert.
Oh, yeah?
In Allentown.
When's that? Oh, at the fair?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw Hootie.
We're going to Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Really?
With the Counting Crows.
Like actually Hootie, or you saw...
It was Hootie and the Blowfish.
His like country
opened
shit.
For... Counting Crows, and I'll stick up for Hootie and the Blowfish.
That is very Caucasian of you.
I'll stick up.
He's
for
very
Hootie.
talented.
I'll stick up for Hootie and the Blowfish anytime. Live,
I love Counting
was
Crows.
a legit show. I loved the Counting Crows. I cried at the concert. Then they came to.
I don't want to laugh in the mic.
No, it's okay.
Dude, I cried at fucking the Real World Road Rules Challenge.
Yeah.
I care about crying in fucking public. So they voted him off.
Nick's in the background laughing at you, man.
What was it? And then I went and saw him at Music Fest. and Counting Crows, and it was terrible.
Really?
Yeah, they brought like a.
I saw them with Blues Traveler.
I'm sure that was good.
Incredible.
The year
and Rusted Roots, I think, been on like everything.
We left the show. They had like this like hip hop opener, and then halfway through they did a couple of their songs. They like turned these Counting Crow songs into like hip hop songs, and like I get what they do because they change the music up because they play so much. So like you'll get Mr. Jones, but then they'll do a different version of like one of their other hits, which is cool because
were you wearing Birkenstocks when you saw Counting Crows?
You know what I was wearing?
Have you ever worn Birkenstocks, Jesse?
No.
I was wearing a tie-dye.
It's like drinking Natter Days.
I don't. That is something I don't.
It's super comfortable.
Who was the kid who almost?
I went to Catholic school. They were necessary.
Who was the kid who almost won was on American Idol? Who was locally and got voted off? Tyler, I don't know. He was there, and I made him take a picture with me.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He was really weird. He was like mannequin-esque.
And the last time I saw him, bring it full circle, was when I was working that tree business. He was cutting grass.
When you were a logger.
Yep. He went from TV to fucking cutting grass.
There you go. Fucking that quick.
It was Taylor or Tyler or something. It was like the 60s guy. Looked like something out of Brady's Bunch.
Yeah. He looked like a rip-off, like, tall JT. He had that like short curly blondish hair.
Yeah, but he wore like bell bottoms and like over the top 70s outfits.
I totally would have stole his lunch money.
Yeah. Fucking
I would have stole his virginity.
Hippie. I have nothing to add now.
I hope that makes the edit.
So
my clients are gonna like that.
That'll be the first promo, and I'll tag that kid in it.
Hashtag AGT. Oh no, that's America's Got Talent. Sorry.
So
what were we talking about?
We were talking about growing up in music and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you've transitioned into so many different things, and I feel like this is like.
This is the shit that's sticking to the wall for once.
Yeah, like I feel like this is the healthiest version of you mentally and physically.
I'm drinking.
You're drinking a natty light Natter Days.
Like I feel like every version.
It's drinking beer, strawberry lemonade drinking beer, not beer. Drinking beer.
I don't mind that.
As opposed to throwing beer,
as opposed to staring beer.
Yeah. I would get this for a picnic or a day drink.
Well, this is a picnic.
Is this their way?
Anytime I'm with you, Michael, it's a fucking picnic.
Is this their way of trying to like overstep like lining kugels?
Maybe, I don't know. They're out. We'll come back to what we're talking about again.
Spring
they just
beer.
came out with like their version of a Four Loko too. It's called like Rage or something. I don't know what it's called, honestly.
We talked about that last episode.
This isn't a
Four
fucking.
Lokos are.
But this is like they came out with their version of like a Four Loko, and it's like 8% of malt liquor. It's insane.
Yeah. Well.
And it tastes like Mountain Dew apparently.
Ooh.
This stuff does make you burp a lot, which is not good for podcasts.
I bet it gives you a wicked headache the next day.
I shotgunned one with my buddy.
Ooh, these are probably fun to shotgun.
They're horrible. Well. It's like shotgunning a Sprite. We should probably shotgun on the podcast.
Maybe later.
Towards the end.
Yes. These are good, though.
Towards the end. What were we talking about?
Music, growing up, it's sticking to the wall.
No.
Shit. You throw shit at a wall long enough and eventually it'll stick.
No, like I feel like, and I'm the same way, Thanks, when you get into something, you put 100% into it. So
I'm passionate.
For sure, and you always let everyone know that. And I feel like you've had opportunities to kind of voice your opinion and get a little bit out there, and then go over here and voice your opinion and get out there. But this is like the complete you, because you can voice your opinion and it lets you help people, which is also what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I feel like this, like, if you took all the different avenues and then this is you in the center. Like it's honed in. Like you're able to do a lot more with this and hit a lot more things, like how we talked about with like mental health, but you're also helping people with fitness. And then I see the people that you work with on your Instagram, where it goes from like younger people all the way up to old people, and you're like, yo, this guy's like 85. What's your excuse? Yeah. And those are always the best. But I feel like you have I feel like you found your platform.
Yeah, it's been a good outreach for somebody who talks so much about how he hates people, because I mean, I do. It's tough just because of the way I was raised and stuff, but I mean, it's good because it's my comfort zone. You know, like music was a comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like shows is a comfort zone. Like when I was at Hatebreed the other week, I mean, it was in Philly, but I saw fucking a couple dozen people that I haven't seen in forever, and it was my comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even Hatebreed is all about people think it's all about unity.
Yeah.
And it's all positive shit.
Right. Yeah.
So you played it for people that don't know any better. They're like, this fucking band's about blah, blah. No, it's about unity. I met them. They're awesome.
Before Dishonor, man.
They're so awesome.
Jamie Joss's thumb. You ever see that? He's like missing a thumb.
No.
Jamie Joss is like missing one of his thumbs or some shit.
From what?
I don't know. Probably an M80 or something.
I was gonna say
lots of flames and jean
thumb
shorts.
Wrestling
man.
overseas.
There you go.
I saw them for my bachelor party.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
We went to New York to watch Hatebreed, Typo Negative, and I forget the other band that was there. But yeah, Hatebreed was awesome, and then Typo Negative.
Cottonmouth Kings.
No. Typo Negative. Peter Steele was so drunk that he didn't sing half the show. He just kept drinking and drinking.
Peter Steele ever?
He's dead.
I know, but
I met him too.
When he did, like, did he ever?
Yes, he was very talented, but he was extreme alcoholic.
He was a mess.
I met him a couple months later in Pike County Courthouse.
I feel like I could drink 1,000.
I believe that you can.
Yeah,
and you will.
he had a cabin in Pike County outside of Milford, PA, and he got pulled over for a DUI, and I had to go for court. And there was a very large. I was standing there, and I had to wait, and there was like this extremely tall fucking guy with jet black hair, and this little fucking Italian guy standing next to him, and then like he was just kind of like looking around, and I'm like, that's fucking Peter Steele, and this is fucking, this is ridiculous. Like I don't know why he's here. So I just kind of walked over, and the man was just like, "Can I help you?" I was like, "That's Peter Steele," and he goes, "All right, just don't say anything." We're in Milford, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, why wouldn't you say something?
The fucking town is 2 blocks long. Like, I doubt there's going to be a bunch of people. So I went over and met him. Yeah, and his real name, it's like Polish. The last name was like, it was all these bunch of letters. I don't know how to pronounce it. But
Peter
I said,
Steele sounds like it would be his porn name.
Peter Steele is so much easier.
Yes, Peter Hatanucci.
Yeah. But he was super cool. But I actually, it's awesome that I got to actually sit there and go, hey, I went for my bachelor party. We saw you guys in New York City.
That's awesome.
At the Palladium, and he goes, oh yeah. I go, yeah, you probably don't remember that show because you didn't really sing that much of it. And he goes, oh yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes
that happens with a lot of performers, though.
Well, he was
lead singers.
He was a mess, though.
Yeah, he was bad.
He was a mess.
But a lot of their stuff is really melodic anyway, so we can get away with just kind of.
Typo Negative always like toted that line of like I like them.
It's gothic,
but you're also not a vampire,
right? Yeah.
Yes.
I also like the sunlight.
Yeah.
And like sports a little too much.
Wiccan chicks, though. You like sports a little bit too much.
Yeah. They were, it's like 9 Inch Nails too. Like I respect 9 Inch Nails, but like I was never like
no.
I became depressed in my later years. Yeah. I was never that depressed.
No, that's
like I liked a couple of their hits, but then I would like there'd be like the 9 Inch Nails girls, and then they would like pick apart the lyrics. And they're like, no, like this is just how I feel.
Meanwhile, I was listening to Radiohead like eating mushrooms at like 16 years old. Like, yeah, man, fucking in my fucking Catholic school polo shirt and khaki pants.
Who was bad like that was like the Deftones. Deftones are good.
One of my all-time favorite bands.
But if you listen to them, you really get depressed.
Yeah. I never got into the Deftones.
Dude, I get horny. Super depressed.
They are sex music.
I listen to it and I'm like, oh my God, like this is depressing.
Love Deftones. Chino is a god, dude.
Yeah,
love them.
Who opened for
what were we actually talking about before we got back to music?
We can talk about music all day. Where I was just talking about with you being on a platform with how like this is kind of like how this fits you. It's the best you.
Okay, hold that thought. Who opened for what?
Who opened for Flogging Molly when I saw you up at Jim Thorpe?
Lucero, dude.
Yeah, they're depressing, man. But I like it.
They are depressing.
It's a good depressing.
But that's when I saw you, I said, this is the only reason we came up. Yo,
I've never seen them.
Listen to how incredible of a day this was. Here's a side note. So I got free tickets for my boy Gary because he reps one of the fucking bands. Gary reps everybody. I mean, Jim Thorpe's 45 minutes away?
Yep.
Maybe closer for you guys? No, actually, probably the same.
About the same thing.
Yeah, probably the same. My wife and I decided to take a last-minute trip. Lucero's one of our favorite fucking bands. 45 minutes up there. Got there right before Lucero played. I got 2 beers. I drank 2 beers. Watched one of my favorite bands with my wife. We got a plate of fries to go. Saw your silly ass.
Yeah.
And drove 45 minutes home. beat the snow.
Oof, that was a tough ride.
And
home.
Was in bed before 11 o'clock.
That was a tough ride home.
As somebody who has children, how phenomenal is that? Because she's almost 8 months.
I like Flogging Molly.
It was perfect. I didn't have to see Flog. I got to see one of my favorite bands.
You missed nothing.
It was 2 hours and 15 minutes. That was it. I was
nothing. They played a couple of their hits, which I was like, cool. You know what? I'm excited. St. Patty's Day is coming. Then they got into their new stuff, and I was like, I don't like.
I like Flogging Molly.
I do too.
I gotta listen to Dropkick though.
I do too. I've seen Flogging Molly a gazillion times.
Is that Penn's Peak?
Yeah. Penn's Peak is such an underrated venue, man.
It is.
I saw David Allan Coe there.
You see?
David Allan Coe there.
I saw.
Because I saw you nod your head when I said that.
I left Allan Coe. Yeah. I saw Jamie Johnson's probably my favorite. Jamie Johnson.
Fuck yeah.
Since the beginning. But Jamie Johnson, the day that George Jones died.
Oh, Jesus.
He was performing there, and he came out and said, I'm going to play a bunch of George Jones stuff. If you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. And awesome. And people are like, okay. He played an hour of George Jones, and he played 2 hours of his stuff.
See you, Mike.
See you later. Yeah, so it was a 3-hour show. It was so fucking good.
Dude, it's not going to show up. I'm going to edit all this. That's
not in the audio. I'm not cutting the audio.
Where's Nick?
He went upstairs.
I didn't know if the other guy was here or what.
Yeah. It was a fucking awesome show. So he played his for an hour, and he played his normal stuff for 2. And it was super fucking good. Jamie Johnson's so fucking good.
Too talented.
So fucking... Yeah. And he's just...
Do you like Chris Stapleton?
Yes. Yeah. But now, Chris Stapleton wrote a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But see, the only thing I don't like about Chris Stapleton is there's a lot of people that don't listen to country, like my brother. And he's like, well, I like Chris Stapleton. Like, I like that. And I was like, which song do you like? You like the whiskey song?
Tennessee Whiskey.
And I go, you're aware that
he's the guy who sung with Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah.
Something. I love Chris Stapleton.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's like entry level into it. Even though knowing that he wrote so many songs for everybody else that he finally did. But I told him, I said that he didn't write that song, right? He goes, well, who else? I said, well, George Jones performed it probably 30 years ago.
Isn't George Jones that guy who made everybody drink Kool-Aid and took him to an island and killed him?
Are you talking about fucking Hailspop or whatever? What are you talking about?
George Jones is the one that had so many DUIs, even got a DUI at his track.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but there's also that cult leader. Wasn't that George Jones as well?
The dude who made everybody drink the same Kool-Aid, they all had the same Nikes on and shit, too.
No. That was a different one. This is the guy who...
That was Haley's Comet or whatever.
That was the one where they, like, cut their dicks off and
Didn't
they wore Nikes.
Didn't a band sing about that? Didn't Train sing about them? Train.
Whatever. Why am I looking this up? Like we need to go into serial killers.
Don't.
How did you get into fitness, Bill? How the fuck did you get into fitness? You used to be skinny. Now you're fucking ripped.
I ate the old me, man.
Yeah. What?
You don't want to talk about music again?
No. I'll have you back on and also talk about his music. No, but see, I love music as much as you do, and he loves music as well. So it's like...
It's also a big thing of what got me into what I do.
Yeah, but like when you find people who also... Like I talk to some people and they don't listen to music. I'm like, you're crazy.
They're serial killers. Check their basement.
Yeah, those are weird
fucking
people.
Turning people into fucking human lampshades.
I have depressed playlists. I have good playlists.
I had a friend like that.
To bring me out of depression.
The one day I just said, I've never heard you listen to any music. I don't think you own any CDs. I just gave him one of those massive CD things. I just said, here, just listen to all of this and give it back to me in a couple months. I said, just honestly try. And then he came back and I go, which one do you like? He goes, I kind of like Biohazard and stuff. And I go, yes.
Fuck yeah.
Like, where have you been?
So do I.
I go, where the fuck have you been? And he goes, I kind of like that.
Banging that hot porn star.
He's married to her.
Married to her.
Did they get married?
No, they're married for a while.
Are they still married?
I think so.
I've been out of the loop.
He made porn with her.
Yes, I knew that.
Yeah.
Last time I saw Biohazard.
I feel like I never went to Jacktown on that one. I always felt awkward because I liked the band.
That's not. I mean, if you've ever heard of Dead to Fall, one of the guitar players from Dead to Fall is a pretty well known. You'd probably know who he is if you've watched a lot of porn. If you watch a lot of Burning Angel porn, but he's a porn star, and I'm like, I love Dead to Fall. Fuck yeah, this is awesome.
I have so many. I don't want to keep talking music, but I do.
Do you want to talk porn now?
No. Who was the lead singer of the band?
Because it's a real weird transition into fitness.
Transitioned into a woman.
I know this.
Against Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
No, there's another one.
Oh.
Life of Agony?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was such a big Life of Agony fan.
I still am.
Yeah, but I don't think the music got shittier.
Well, did Against Me's music change?
Yeah, a little bit. Softened up a little bit.
But I'm saying I don't think their music is the same. I think they changed the music too.
What up, John?
What's up, man? How are you?
What's up?
John, this is Mike. Jesse.
Phone.
Nice to meet you guys.
There's
What's up?
There's Natterdays in the fridge. Help yourself.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Didn't want to interrupt.
We're gonna be here hanging out. This can be edited. Don't worry about it.
No, it can't. I
we're
do
not
very
taking
very
any of that
limited
out.
editing. That would mean I'd have to do shit.
Chinese spot.
Yeah, man, I got some Natterdays in the fridge if you want one.
Yo, you want that
yourself.
Chinese spot? I can tell you some stories over there. You probably shouldn't want over there. No, it's all right. The
That
food's
shit
okay.
smells good though.
The food's okay.
What were we saying?
So you guys know I'm probably sticking around till like 11.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Point, then I'm just gonna
Go right ahead.
Yeah, man.
but I don't want to interrupt.
You're all right.
Yeah, I'm not editing anything.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's character. And this isn't fucking.
This has been going all right so far.
I don't care. I'm not changing anything. We're fine.
Thanks, Jesse. Nice fucking talking, man.
How do you feel like that's what I want to know how you got into fitness, because you weren't jacked, you
It's
weren't
like the
ripped,
7th time you've
you
asked.
weren't taking care of yourself. Just
Sooner or
stop,
later-
don't bring up fucking typo negative and the Hatanucci and
Sooner or
we'll be
later-
fine.
Stop saying Hatanucci.
It's fucking Alan Jackson, you piece of shit.
I never said it once. You just keep saying it over and over again.
That's how you pronounce the song.
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
He also sings about his dog.
It gets
that got
hotter than a
ran
hoochie
over.
coochie.
They all do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Blech.
what about fitness?
How'd you get so big, Bill? Lifting heavy things. Mm-hmm. Back to music. So,
Well, I got into fitness because of sports in high school, and
Yeah.
my dad, again, my stepdad, but I don't call him that. My dad was heavy into fitness when I was growing up. My dad's definitely one of those, like my father and my dad are like yin and yang. My father's very laid back and chill, and my dad, like I was vegetarian for the first 24 years of my life.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my body wouldn't process meats properly, and it was probably why I was so little, and I have tons of fucked up immune system issues now, and all sorts of stuff, and like crazy IBS. But so like, and I wrestled, and I hated wrestling, but my dad was like a really good wrestler for Northampton, and he would say inappropriate things that you can't say nowadays in 2019, but he'd be like, "No son of mine's like that. Now roll around half naked with other dudes on the floor like on a mat." Like, and I'd be like, "All right, okay, I guess I'll do it." And then my father would be like, "Come here and listen to Steve Miller Band, man." I'd be like, "Okay." Like it would be a total like yin and yang.
I hated wrestling also.
But I was really good at it when I did it because of how much I hated it.
I wrestled since I was 5.
Okay.
And my dad like forced me to wrestle.
Yeah.
So I was.
Dads are fun.
I was. I was a national runner-up and state runner-up in wrestling, and then I got all the way up to middle school, and the coach came in to me and my friend and said, "Wow, you guys got fat." And I go, "Cool, fuck you, I'm not wrestling." And
Yeah.
he goes, "Why? What are you gonna do?" I said, "I'll play football." I said, "I don't wrestle anymore. I fucking
Wrestling
hate it."
and baseball
I hate
was
it.
my shit.
I hate it.
When I graduated high school, I weighed like 117 pounds. I was tiny, real tiny. Probably had to do with like not eating meat growing up and shit. And then when I toured, like in one of the bands I was in, we were that band that would like take benches with us and like silly plates and like fucking dumbbells, and we'd be on tour and we'd be like drinking Mickey's Ice 40s and like
Oh, so good.
bench pressing.
Not good.
There'd be so good. There'd be like a 45 on one side and then like weights to match 45 pounds on the other. And, like,
Yeah.
we'd be benching like in parking lots and shit. And I didn't know it. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. But again, my ex-girlfriend that we both know, when I moved home from New Jersey into Caddy area, that's when my buddy Jay Overdorf, his parents, they lived right down the street. They owned Viagra Records back in the day, and they had a little gym in their basement, and we would just get fucking wasted, and I would just get really into lifting weights.
Yeah.
Hammered drunk, like right after work. And that was it. Like it was just, at first it was just because it was something to do, and then eventually it connected with the whole mental health thing. Like the whole mental health thing kind of kicked in. And I remember the first thing, I bring this up a lot when I tell stories and when I do consultations and I talk about fitness. I remember reading Henry Rollins. Everybody should know who the fuck Henry Rollins is.
I saw him a bunch of times.
But
yes,
I remember reading a Henry Rollins quote where he says something along the lines of like, friends come and go and like shit gets tough, but like 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. And I remember being at like the lowest point, one of the lowest points I was ever at in my life mentally, and being like, like that's the fucking truth, man. Like, there's nothing better than everything I tell my clients, like when they're getting ready to pull a PR and they're getting ready to do a big lift, I always tell them like everything that's fucking going on in your life right now. Like if I have a client who's got a lot going on, and the other day we pulled deadlifts and I said, dude, like you've got a lot going on in your personal life right now. Ignore me, ignore all the surroundings and fucking use it. Just use every little bit of it. And that's 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. Just fucking use it. Just put it into that lift and stand the fuck up. And for me, there's no better representation of life than a deadlift. Like being able to like stand in front of a big set of weight, especially if it's more than your body weight, and knowing that there's a bunch of chaos that's going on around you and you're able to create your own chaos right at that second. You're able to put your body through some trauma willingly, and being able to channel everything that's fucking going on around you into standing the fuck up with a ton of weight. There's nothing cooler than that, in my opinion. There's nothing more of a fuck you to that dude that was a dickhead to you at the grocery store, or like your spouse or your significant other that you're just not getting along with, or the person at work that you're not getting along with. There's nothing better than being able to just stand up off the floor with a bunch of weight and shake your head at the top of that lift. It's cool, man. You cried at, what did you cry at? You cried at
Counting crows.
Counting crows.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
I cry at deadlifts, man.
I cry at everything.
But it's cool, man. It's
I cried to Game of Thrones last night.
It's an emotional thing, and being able to use it for something so positive while it's so alpha in the same aspect. And
how much of a release is it?
I mean, it's as much of a release as you want it to be, man, without sounding so vague about it and so open-ended about it. Like,
no, like, because when I was dealing with like my sobriety back in the day, and then like I've had massive depression my entire life, and I don't even think I really knew what was going on until I was a little bit older, and then I realized, like, during the first couple of years of being sober, and I used to run, and I just would run, but it was the same thing when you were explaining that, was like I would just use everything going on from my anxiety, my depression, and all this crazy shit that I didn't even know was going on because I've just been masking it with fucking drinking and getting high and doing all this shit. And I would run 8 miles every fucking day. Every fucking day. I would get up and run 8 miles nonstop.
Yeah, you get runner's high.
Dude, it was crazy. Like, my mom was like, hey, we're having Christmas dinner right here. And I was like, all right, I'm going to run to the house. And they're like, what? And they're like, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm going to run. I'm like, it's under 8 miles. I can definitely get there. And I just got to map it out. And I'm like, I can do it. And they're like, well, we have to take you home. And I'm like, well, I would run back. And they're like, no, you can't do that. But like, I was completely 100% addicted to like exercise and that release. And it eventually leveled out. But even now when I do it and I'll go for like a 4 mile run, I'm like, why aren't you doing this every day?
When's the last time you went for a 4 mile run, Michael?
Probably last month. I forced myself to, but then I ended up getting hurt.
Were you running from a dog during your postal delivery?
No. That was the last month. I'm in a fucking vehicle, and I got dog mace, motherfucker.
It is a huge release, but like I said, it's only as much as you want it to be. I don't want to ever sound like that corny trainer, but if you give 110%, you're going to get that back. It's just like a car or a motorcycle. If you're giving 110% to that lift at that time, something, one of those power moves, a squat or a deadlift or a bench, and you're putting that much into it, you're going to get that back. You're going to get whatever release you want out of it. If fitness is so beautiful like that, it's poetry.
How long did it take before you started realizing that you could use it as a tool for mental health? Because there's got to be the early development stages where you're done fucking around doing it drunk, and now you're like when did you step over when you're like, you know what, like I think I'm going to be a trainer? So
if you were to ask me when I started taking fitness seriously, my immediate answer would be when I was like 25. If I were to answer that truthfully now, I'd say like 29, 30.
Yeah.
I've always been into fitness, being an athlete growing up, but when it clicked to become a trainer and use it for a platform to help people with mental stuff, it was when I obviously decided to make the transition from my career at the time to doing it now. It was a lot of the, like you said it, like it was a lot of the, like, I'm done using this to be silly. I'm done using this for a pump to go pick up chicks at Pigpen. Like I'm ready to like actually like make this a thing. It took me hitting my lowest mentally to understand how much fitness meant to me. And it's only until when you follow your passion can either take you two ways. It can either take you into a career and you lose yourself in it in either a good way or a bad way, or it just kind of sits in a pocket and you use it whenever you want to. And I took the route.
What a great way to put that.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's a really hard thing to balance.
Yeah.
Because fitness is my passion. Music's my passion too, but fitness is my passion, and it's tough, man. Making your passion your career. Everybody likes to talk about how like do what you love until it kills you, and that's like some Bukowski like what? Like it's fucking bullshit. Like, no, man, because you lose your passion for it. Like I had to start scheduling time to work out when I wasn't around people, because I love that so many people want me for help while I'm at the facility that I work at. But it's hard for me to find my passion. It's hard for me to find my outlet because everybody wants you at their disposal. So whether you're a painter or whatever you're doing, you're always going to lose it. People are going to take advantage of it. You know what I mean? So, but it took me having to hit my lowest mentally for me to finally go, this is it. Like, this is the last thing I need other than outside help, you know, therapists and things of that nature.
Those are always good.
and tons of marijuana. But, you know, it took me hitting my lowest for me to finally realize that fitness was what my life needed, because it was the final chapter in my first book of my life, to where I realized this is how this ends for me to start my new book. Like, this is how, like, I hear Joe Rogan talk about like create your own movie, and like Kevin Hart just did his whole thing on like, you make yourself a book, like write your chapters, like write your own story. And like I always viewed it that way, to where like that was my first book. Like my first book ended with me finding, it was a cliffhanger to finding fitness, and the cliffhanger was the darkest point in my life ever, and then it would open back up with that specific darkest point, leading me into why I do what I do now.
I think when people a lot of times hit their darkest point, it's weird, because when you're down there, you basically have two options. You're like, you can hang out down here and then you can just be this way forever, or it can be over, or you have to drastically start swimming up because you're drowning at that point, and then find any sort of light at all. And it's very difficult to find something that's going to hit all of the things that you wanted to hit, especially with a creative person like yourself, where you need the creative outlet, you need to do all this stuff, and you need to do it. And I feel like when you find that one thing to click on, and then you kind of can hang on to it, if you find the right things, you definitely 100% can pull yourself out of terrible, horrible, depressing, suicidal, like the worst case scenario stuff. As much as you want to give up there, it's not easy, but you can definitely get out of there 100%.
That's why I say fitness is like poetry for me. Like I look at fitness, because fitness is all things. It's not just bodybuilding, it's not just power. Like I fell in love because of bodybuilding. I just posted this the other day, not to be fucking stupid and reference an Instagram post, but
you're like, follow me
at Bill_Lohr. Like I fell in love because of bodybuilding. I stayed because of powerlifting, and I'm fucking still here because of fitness. Like, so what I mean by that is there's so much of like, you have to create your own issues. You have to create your own trauma. Fitness is trauma. You're putting your body through fucking trauma. Like if I didn't wake up sore, I'd be like, what the hell is wrong with me right now? But it's poetry in the aspect of, like you said, you get creative. You create the platform, and you're like, all right, I'm going to create this superset, and in this superset, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and in between X, Y, and Z, I'm going to do points 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to wait this much time, because I know how much point 2 is going to make sense with X, and everything has to crisscross in 15 different directions, and it might not make sense to everybody who's doing it at that time, but at the end of that workout, you know that you left every fucking bead of sweat out on it, and you've covered all bases to when you're done looking at it and you look at the sheet of paper in your head and you see nothing but zigzags. And if your sheet of paper at the end of your workout doesn't look like something like zigzags, you didn't fucking work hard enough.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound to where like you have to come in and be like, oh, give everything you got, fucking blah. No, but like you're here for a reason. Don't just come in and run on your treadmill and say, you know what, I could go eat my burger now. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you didn't earn that. It takes 10 years of fucking doing that to earn that. Like,
yeah. So see, I've never heard fitness explained that way, and you explaining it that way makes me realize why you do it, because it's like controlled, constructive, positive chaos.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I always say I don't operate unless my hair's on fire.
Yeah, and like like when people, like Andy was on and he's like, you just like building things and you have all these crazy things going on, and I was like, no, I'm trying to figure out, like, I like chaos, and instead of spending my time dating chaotic women or doing chaotic things like drinking or getting into chaotic drugs, I'm trying to find healthy, positive things that are chaotic, but I like so much chaos. It's you're spinning plates,
right?
But if I'm almost there. Like, you see the studio and Andy came down, I was like, damn, this looks crazy. Like, I'm figuring out how to spin the right amount of plates with the right amount of chaos where I can live my life, because there has to be chaos. And if there isn't chaos, I'm not happy.
Right.
So like,
right. Yeah.
So like,
you're creating your own fucking trauma, man. Yeah.
And if I don't have chaos, I'm depressed.
Like, so
it's insane.
I just transitioned from lifting heavy to, like, I turned 35 and I realized I have an almost 8-month-old daughter, and my body can't handle it anymore. I've had arthritis for 20 years, 3 knee surgeries, shoulder surgeries, biceps tendonitis.
See, that's the thing too, is your body has changed drastically. Like, when you first were in it, like, you were like monster fucking big.
Yeah. At my heaviest, I was 242, probably at like maybe 16% body fat, just trying to stay like meaty for
But then
heavy
I
lifts.
remember when you were like, yo, fuck that, I want to be like this, and now you're at this size, which I think is the healthiest you look.
Would you date me?
Yes.
I'm at my leanest. A quick
date.
and the widest I've ever been. But aesthetics were never a thing for me. I know that. I've always been about power and size, and that just goes like that's like a really scapegoat for like my insecurities with my mental health. Like, I don't like taking my shirt off. I'm the only Instagram fucking dude who doesn't take a shirt off that works in fitness. Like, I'm not that guy, man, and I don't want to be that guy. And that gets into a whole other conversation, but yeah, man, chaos is the way to look at it. Like I said, with the whole poetry aspect, for me, like, the way I transitioned out of like lifting heavy and powerlifting and power building to opening up with like a set of like a minute of battle ropes, and then hitting like a minute of like burpees, and then doing like a push-up variation, and then going into deadlifts for volume, into push press for volume, into 21s for biceps curls, and then hitting another push-ups variation, and then taking a break. And then that's set 1. And then you build like fucking 6 more sets.
I took a break and ate a cheeseburger.
That's the way it's built now, instead of like the way I used to run it. And then my whole aspect of, I'm a big believer in practice what you preach. So like, if I keep telling my clients, because I preach balance, 80-20 in everything you do, 80-20, like 80-20 in your nutrition, 80-20 in your 80-20 in your training, but when you're there, give 100%. But like out, like 80-20 in your training, like take a fucking break, relax, like chill. It's not that goddamn serious. If you're not competing,
I learned that after burning out.
If you're not, well, that's the whole thing. If you're not competing, there's no sense in trying to act like that. So 80-20 balance, moderation, and like I realized that if I'm not practicing that by deadlifting. Like, my deadlift max was 635. By my push, my bench press was at the time 417, and my squat was 605. I can't do that shit anymore, man. Like, it's just not good. Like, I got a daughter. Like, my daughter made me realize that there's something more. She really helped me understand that there's more for fitness for me, and she helped me understand that I need to practice what I preach with my clients, and it's being able to dial the fuck back and listen to your body and do what makes sense. So now I kill myself in other ways, and it's definitely it makes more sense. I feel better. Like you said, I look drastically different from what you were used to seeing me as, and it's cool. Like I feel different. Maybe you'll start seeing me with my shirt off on the gram.
Yeah.
Hashtag ab check or some shit like that. I don't know what those fucking guys fucking write, man. Flex Friday or some bullshit like that.
It's got to be also weird because I know you personally, so I know that like a lot of the stuff you post is like you mean it. So like, and especially in the fitness world, like it's got to be hard to even have a social media presence with being so nauseated by 90% of the people that are just either pretending to be what you're actually doing.
It's horrible.
For money.
It's horrible. Fucking, are you poking the bear right now?
No, I'm saying it's got to be very.
So,
but I mean, I also know that
suck. Let's talk about that.
People do suck.
But
man.
I also know you're not one to stray off from saying fuck you. This is what I do. This is me. You're not going to walk out of the room because there's a bunch of fake people in it who are trying to do what you're doing.
So, I mean, we touched base on this briefly earlier with like I definitely feel where I'm not being as genuine as I feel I can be, which is a huge reason as to why I wanted to sit down here with you guys. Like, there's so much more I want to be able to open up about, and Instagram only provides so much of a platform, and it's fucking God, it makes me cringe even fucking talking about this. But what sells right now is abs and ass, which is great. Who doesn't like looking at abs and ass, right? And cheeseburgers, right?
Love cheeseburgers.
Right.
I love ass.
Like my Instagram feed's like abs, ass, cheeseburgers.
I'm married.
Valley Prep, Meal Prep, hey, and Harleys. And that's it. Like, it's just fucking, but I've definitely noticed as far as like growth goes, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and I'd rather do it organically to where it takes longer instead of selling myself with ab shots and fucking ass shots of my clients. First of all, my clients would goddamn kill me if I ever did some shit like that. And there's trainers that post videos and pictures of their clients' asses and booty shots, and it's all fucking squat videos and cable fucking pulls, and it's just nonsense. Like I don't do that. If you check my feed out, I normally 9 times out of 10 I'm posting one of my female clients deadlifting. Yeah. Because it's dope as shit to see a strong ass female.
When you go on your stuff, it's all like legit stuff. Like what I said, you're like, like when you post that old guy like working out, I'm like, dude, you hit snooze today, not to do, because was doing push-ups. I got sick, which, like you said, I'm trying to listen to my body more. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Go for a mountain bike ride and exert all your energy and then be fucking sick again tomorrow? So I'm going back into it next week. But like,
well, the whole sweating it out is actually a wives' tale. That's not real. Like when people say, oh, I'm just gonna go sweat it out. If you're sick, like you're I'm just gonna go sweat it out. I'm just going to go to the gym and sweat it out. First of all, your body's not built like that. That's a lie. And second of all, you're being a dick. You
getting other people sick.
You are getting the entire gym loaded with disease and nastiness. Nobody wants MRSA. Stay the hell home. Like, knock it off. Like, it's a wives' tale. Sweating it out's not real. If you're going to sweat it out, you go into a sauna. You can't just come. You can't just come work it out and expect to lift some weights and run on the treadmill and do all. And that's the whole other fucking.
But me hitting snooze and then seeing your Insta story with this dude like getting at it every day.
The 78-year-old Jack. Yeah, Jack's crazy. We got Jack in our morning classes in our boot camp. He's not even a one-on-one, so Jack's a boot camp guy. Jack's not coming for one-on-ones. He's coming for our group classes. Not to pat myself on the back.
Where are you at now?
Anytime Emmaus.
Is that where you started?
We're at Anytime Whitehall too, but we're kind of revamping it, and I stay at Anytime Emmaus. But Jack's actually got cancer too. How about that for fucking your excuses? How about that?
I'm not laughing at you, Jack. I'm laughing that I hit snooze.
Right. You're laughing at the fact that you're lazy as shit, Fauerbach.
Yeah. It's not that I'm lazy, like, and what's worse too is like when I hit snooze, it takes 8 minutes to fall back asleep. So I'm really only getting like, I'll close my eyes and be like, yeah, you probably should just get up.
10 minutes?
Yeah. I think it's a 9 minutes regular snooze.
I'm one of those. And this isn't to sound like one of those trainers, but like I'm one of those dudes that I don't. First of all, I don't sleep because anxiety's fucking insane. But
I can help you with that.
When it goes off,
Benadryl?
I'm up. No.
The melatonin.
Nope, doesn't work.
Nice little cocktail.
Doesn't work.
It wears off on me. It works for like a week.
I'll smoke before bed. I'll take NyQuil.
That'll knock me out too.
I'll have like I'm wide awake having
help?
nightmares, man, like freaking out. Nah, nothing works. I'm going through a lot a lot of stuff to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
Going for my medical card and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then I got the 80-year-old. Well, I had the 80-year-old with Parkinson's. I haven't seen him in a hot minute, but I just started that young man who has Down syndrome.
I saw that too.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flex Friday, bro.
He's fucking crazy, man. He's crazy. Yesterday he came in and he just wanted to hit the punching bag for like 30 minutes. I was like, Sean, we got to do some shit. So I made him do push-ups in his punching gloves.
And then he hit the punching bag?
Yeah. He's crazy. He's cool,
It's
man.
got to be
But that's the shit
humbling.
I love. It is.
Because you're
tough.
helping people.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, just help. I mean, there are normal people that like clients that come in, but then when you have the older people or people with disabilities, it's got to, I don't know, that's got to be a good ride home.
Well, Sean's actually a huge introduction into me wanting to work with that a lot because if you remember my wife's brother who passed away in the summer last year,
right.
Amongst many physical deformities, he had a little bit of Downs as well, and I really wanted to work with Thomas because Thomas was very close to me, and I really wanted to use him as like a catalyst to work with that community. And unfortunately, he passed away unexpectedly, and I was never able to do it. So I was definitely afraid when I was approached with this because I wasn't sure if I was ready for it emotionally. But Sean came in, and he's a pretty incredible human being, man. And we have a connection with one another. He's big in the biker scene.
Yeah.
So he was, if you ever remember seeing stories in the area, he was the kid that was being escorted to school by all the bikers so that he would feel comfortable on the first day of school.
Yep.
That's him.
That's awesome.
And my father's involved with that. My dad's best friend, who's like an uncle to me, Hammer. And they throw spring thaw all the time. Like they're all really close with Sean. So it was nice. Like there was a nice little connection there. But it's definitely been. It keeps you on your toes. It's humbling as hell, man. He puts me in check. He's a good individual to work with. I can't wait to like be able to work with a lot more of that community, especially because not to sound weird about it or ostentatious, but there's not a lot of personal trainers in this area that are willing to step out of their comfort zone and work with people in that community. And it's where my passion lies. I want to help everyone. I don't want to help bodybuilders. I don't want to help powerlifters. I'll work with you, but I want to help the Mike Fauerbachs that come in and say, "Man, I'm a fucking mailman."
Yeah, please help Mike.
And I'm out of breath walking from mailbox to mailbox, like you know. And I'm not saying that you are.
No.
I've
I've been slowly, like when I reached out to you before about doing stuff. Like the other thing too is like what I said before is I just started listening to my body, so it's like when I answered all your questions, I answered all those questions like I was 25. And then when I got in, like what happens is I get motivated, I don't stretch, I go too fast, too furious. I'm like a Toretto.
Tokyo Drift.
And then my back goes out.
R.I.P. Paul Walker.
And then my back goes out. And then I'm out.
That's from being a logger.
And then actually I did it when I was cleaning with DJ and his yeah, where's the Vin Diesel one, bro?
Rock Nation.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. His eye's a little off too, but like it should be.
But no, like the last couple of weeks, I don't know. I've just been taking it more serious. Like I was just like getting up and doing push-ups. I went to jiu-jitsu. I've been trying to go to jiu-jitsu for 3 years, and I finally put that shit before everything else.
Do you follow Jocko on Instagram? Since you're like
he's tiring. I can't follow him.
I love him.
He takes pictures of his watch when he gets up every morning.
See, that's the point I was going to bring up. I love that.
Yeah.
I love. He took a picture.
He up at like 4?
He took a picture of his watch. It was at 4:20 on 4:20, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Jocko. But that's the shit I love, man. And that borders on like a little too corny for me at points, and then it borders on that's the exact point that he's trying to get across. Like,
if you listen to his podcast, he's 100% legit. He's not
that good clip that he has. Do you ever see that?
Yes.
Where he talks about like you will like. The mission failed, good. You didn't get the job, good.
Yeah, you build upon it.
Work fucking harder.
Yep.
And not to quote a Fear No Iron t-shirt, but that's exactly what it stands for. And that's about as like militant as I get in my training, because I don't ever want to sound like that douchebag that's sitting there behind the desk that's trying to sign somebody up who's already intimidated and scared to come into a gym to begin with. I understand that it's scary as hell to walk in and see this sitting there. Like, I'm littered in tattoos, and if I've got my meathead shirt on, my traps are to my ears, you know what I mean? And if you've got an average Joe coming into Anytime Fitness, the last thing they want to see is this. Like, they don't want to see somebody this, like, the dynamic of what society has portrayed me as, like this whole like alpha kind of thing, which is what I love being. But it's definitely, like, I get it all the time. People are really shoulders front, scared to talk, scared to open, until I kind of open up myself, and then you see the shoulders roll back and they understand that I'm actually a giant teddy bear. I like long walks on the beach. Not too long though, because then that's cardio.
Yeah, do you like cardio?
I do conditioning, man. I can't run.
Cardio.
My knees can't run.
My knees are shot, but
I fucking two-stepped that hate breed a little too long, and my knees still hurt.
Yeah, my knees will just buckle.
Yeah, running is just a lot of hard work.
It is.
I love it. It's my favorite thing to do.
And cardio, so
I'm not running anywhere.
To
I have
actually
to lose more weight before I can do it all the time.
To throw a little bit of science of training into this, cardio is one of the three parts of the pyramid of what makes training work, but it's actually the smallest part.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that when you're training and when you're working out, you have to what you're working towards is getting your target heart rate. And to get to your target heart rate, you have to look at it like a bullseye on a dartboard. And the more you shoot towards that bullseye, the more that you're actually aiming towards your goal, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to gain weight or trying to lose weight. And in that pyramid, while you're trying to get towards your THR, is cardio, nutrition, and resistance training, which is weights. And nutrition and resistance is same parts. So cardio is only this much, and it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're only doing cardio for an hour, you're only burning calories for that hour. If you're only doing it for 20 minutes, you're only burning calories for those 20 minutes. As opposed to where if you dial in nutrition and resistance training together, you're getting a 72-hour window. So you could get out of this whole old school mentality of bodybuilding where it's chest and tries and back and buys and blah, 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 blah. You're not competing. Stop training like that. Upper body on Monday, lower body on Tuesday, active rest on Wednesday, upper body again on Thursday, lower body again on Friday, creating a 72-hour gap, being able to give those muscles proper time to feed and rest and overtrain appropriately, so that cardio introduces itself in just this small window to where you're not burning too much off. Because if you come too far above your target heart rate, you're going to literally run your ass right off of you. Like, you ever meet a cardio bunny, like somebody who's obsessed with running, and they almost look like sickly thin? Yeah. They've run their lean muscle all off of them. And that's the problem. People think they could just go run and run and run and run and run and run and run, and then there's nothing left except for a bag of bones.
I hate running.
I love it.
And that's why you should hate cardio.
I love
and the Smith machine.
Cardio.
Stay off the Smith machine.
The most running I've done is I started running before I shoot because I go shooting a lot.
Okay.
So I'll run to get my heart rate really fucking to the sky, because then your aim is way the fuck off. And I'll do that. I'll train like that. That's the most running I'll do. That's it.
The only thing I run from are my problems.
Is the elliptical worth doing?
The elliptical?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't know.
What about the one that has water in it? It swishes around.
There's way better pieces of cardio equipment. Like the Concept 2 rowers, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best pieces of cardio equipment there is. Or like a stair stepper, stairmaster, Stairway to Heaven.
I always see the girls
Jacob's Ladder.
I used to love those.
Yeah, it shapes the peach, baby.
Yeah. I used to love those.
Everybody likes a nice butt.
Those hammer machines.
Yeah.
Those were fucking great. Well, at least for football. At least.
Yeah. I mean, they're still pretty awesome. And there's a new thing. It's like an AMT. It's like a crossover. It's a hybrid between like a stepper, and it's got like a gazelle motion in it, almost like an elliptical, but it's a little bit more of an open stride. Actually.
I like the elliptical, but I didn't get a release off of it.
What's with the?
What are you trying to do? What kind of release are you looking for, Mike?
I'm looking for like
soft, hard release.
I feel like I'm high.
Like subtle.
My brain's turned
like almost
off.
like a whisper.
Yeah, like when you're attracted to this substitute teacher, and she's like, "Are you having problems with that?" And she's like telling you how to do shit in your ear because it's a test, and she's giving you the answer. You fill up a little bit downstairs. That's what I'm looking for. The elliptical doesn't fill me up downstairs. You know what I mean?
What time are you coming in for a consultation?
Like I did the elliptical and I saw all the calories burned, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And then I got off the elliptical and I was like, "My body doesn't hurt. I'm not like I don't feel like I got hit by a car."
Right.
I like that.
Well, because you like chaos.
Yes.
Right.
I don't like the elliptical.
So learn how to lift weights.
I should.
Right.
I should probably start stretching first, though.
You know what would be fucking incredible if you knew a trainer?
I know. I still have your email.
Where would I online train you?
I did.
Where would we
I fucked my back up.
Huh?
Where would we find a trainer?
All right.
I don't know.
I want to ask a question.
Probably anytime Emmaus.
I want to ask a question then. How can I build my back up before I would even start working out?
Build your back up?
Like my back goes out.
Where in your back?
Like my discs.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
But like I haven't been to a doctor about it.
Spinal.
But like, well, all right. So my back goes out, and then I do these yoga stretches because I haven't had insurance in forever. I have insurance now. Finally, I can go to a doctor and get this looked at. But my back will go out. I'll do these stretches, and I'll do these stretches for 3 days. And if I continually do the stretches, my back aligns. I'm back to normal. I can start working out. I can start running. But if I stop stretching, which I usually do because then my back doesn't hurt, like 3 months later, back's out again.
So then what do you think the problem is there?
Me.
Right. Operator error, man.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing what you found out was the glue that was holding it together. The shit that's stuck against the wall for once. What you found out was actually working is what you need to continue to do.
Yeah.
You don't fucking just because you had oatmeal 3 days in a row and actually lost 2 pounds doesn't mean you should stop eating fucking oatmeal. Like you should continue.
No way,
to
you're
do
totally
what was
ahead.
working.
You can totally eat whatever you want.
It's not that. It's the stretching, and then once my back's back to normal,
we should get some
I get lazy.
DDP yoga down here.
Yo,
I'll do it with
for
you.
real.
I'll do it with you. We're not filming that shit at all.
I want to start going to Sue's classes.
Nobody wants to fucking see that shit.
See, the problem is
I want to see you do DDP yoga.
I fucking hate yoga. Everything about it. But
I love it.
Jesse, what do you like?
I hate a lot of things. I like guns.
Do you like I Hate God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Not to go back into music.
Yes. No, I like
but you get a release from shooting guns.
Yeah, it is very therapeutic.
Okay.
And I try to explain that to my wife because I'll go to the range for like 5-6 hours.
Do you lift at all? Still?
No, not anymore.
When's the last time you lifted? When you were still active and playing football?
No, before over 2 years ago, before we had a second kid.
Okay. What were you doing? Please don't say CrossFit.
No,
I hate
please.
CrossFit.
I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn how to work out. I want to fucking work out.
That was the last
That's
time.
What CrossFit
That was
is.
the
And I'm
last
not
time my
talking
back-
trash. I don't want to talk trash on CrossFit.
No,
I've seen it work wonders, but you basically get really good at working out.
I'm just saying.
I don't want to do that.
The last time I tried CrossFit,
So I would
blew my
do
back out.
pretty much. I would not do what I used to do when I was in football because that's stupid. Because I'm not powerlifting. I'm not doing any of that.
I bet
shit
you
anymore.
could pull some heavy weight.
I used to. I can't squat. I have a big problem with my fucking hips. So, and it's on
I could
video.
work those hips for you, baby.
No,
Shakira
it's on
style.
video. Like
Shakira's I love Shakira comes on at the gym.
Yeah.
You see these white boy hips moving.
Nobody would believe me, and then my coach actually came in and
She
filmed.
Wolf is my favorite.
My
Shakira
right
song.
my right hip like it jibs it like it makes my whole body. I almost go like a corkscrew.
Yeah.
But I could do
that
on
from
like the
line
squat
dancing?
racks. You know the actual slides.
I bet you I could fix your squat in one session.
I'm telling you, they tried.
I bet you I
do.
could.
I can't do squats.
You said
but
they
if you go,
tried. Bill didn't try.
Bill didn't try.
Bet
But
you
you know,
I could.
you know what I'm saying? You know the actual slide racks?
Yeah,
People-
yeah.
So I could do a shit ton of weight with that.
Well,
And I could lay down and press a whole bunch of but I just
Right.
could not do actual squats because my just
are you talking about Smith machine?
I don't know what it's called.
The slide like it's on bar it's on like the
No, not those. No, the actual slide rack. You know, like the ones you lay down and put your legs up.
Okay.
You push with the actual sled. We used to call it the sled.
Yeah.
Why
So
don't
we do that, and we had an adapt. We could actually go and you could push that way.
Why
I
don't
could
you
do all
join?
that's why I just can't
Why don't you
squat.
join Planet Fitness and we'll go like once a week?
I told them that they should all fucking die. So
Wow,
I probably
see,
not.
there's always something tied to why he hates things.
No, I went there.
But he likes shooting guns.
I love shit.
Yeah.
Jesse sounds like one of those people that you need to make sure he's in your on your
there
side.
are
and not
firearms
on your
everywhere in this fucking place. We're good to go.
It's crazy, man. It's got like fucking. He'll have a backpack, but it's got a bulletproof shield in the back.
I do. I have a vest.
He just lies to his wife and says he needs all this shit for work. She
Well,
doesn't
I mean,
listen.
for what he
It's in a
does.
shell.
I do.
For what he does,
I do. But either
I'm
way,
on his side.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I brought-
I'm just saying. I've had those conversations.
I'm
on
not
the
saying.
phone.
I'm just saying.
I brought him over a little bit.
I'm like, what do you need
To
that
my
Russian sniper rifle for?
Well, right.
No, I
America.
I could care. The more guns he buys when we go shooting, he just brings shit. Oh, cool. You brought an automatic shotgun. Oh, cool. You brought this foreign sniper rifle. Cool. He's teaching me how to shoot guns. When I first got my gun, I said, "What? I don't remember what I bought." I said to him, I said, what should I get?
H&K VP9.
So I was like, cool, I'll get that. I know it's a good gun. He suggested it. He knows a lot about guns.
You just proved why so many people are against anybody owning guns.
What do you mean?
Because you just said, I don't remember what I bought.
No, I don't.
No, this is how it went. It was after a podcast.
And I don't disagree with those people.
We were sitting there on the
you.
computer, and he goes, and I was sitting there, and I go, I flashed a picture, and he goes, wait, what was that? And I go, that's the gun I carry, like, for work. That's awesome. I got to go get one of those.
Next day,
he went and got
I live by myself, you know. I'm not saying
it's like that Bill Burr stand-up.
I'm not saying...
I'm going to get a gun.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a 22.
But I mean, when I go, I'm not comfortable enough to go shooting by myself. I go with him, and he's teaching me how to shoot. We went twice. Each time I go a little bit more. I don't take it out and show it to people. And
I don't. So I have my this is a good back into what we were talking about. I have my permit to carry. I'll probably lose it once I get my my medical, which I'm fine with. I haven't had a gun on my person or in my residence since I realized how fucked up I was mentally. That is a line.
But that's healthy because if you don't feel comfortable, you should not.
Once I actually tried hurting myself for the first time, and it wasn't with a gun, but like once I actually attempted it, and I realized this is fucking not cool. Because I had a little 38 special that I would carry, and I have a 1911. I have a Kimber. I've never even shot it.
You should just give it to me.
It's beautiful. It's a fucking work of art.
Just saying. I know.
He's opening up about mental health, and you're trying to get guns.
I waited like 13 months for it.
It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous. But once I realized that there was something going on, I took them all out of my house. They're all in a lockbox at my
parents did that when I was growing up.
So, but they're fun. It's a release. I could totally see it. I used to love riding my Harley with my pops into the middle of nowhere and fucking shooting guns in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, and like I said, I'm not a big. Everybody's like, oh, aren't you pissed that you're gonna lose your license to carry if you get your medical? Nah. My medical is gonna help this way more than a gun's gonna.
I am. Me. I'll never do any of that shit. So I can't anyway.
I need it. Yeah, you can't. Not with your work.
I could for that work, but for my other job, I can't either. I have another job too. I can't do it. Nope. Yeah. But no, I couldn't give any of that shit up. I have too much stuff, especially 2 fucking kids and stuff. And I mean, yeah, I live here,
right?
But I've done a lot. Like I've had to go and clear my house. The one that we were here, I had to fucking clear my house.
Yeah, I believe it.
I cleared my fucking father's house.
I had going on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so like I said, you did the proper thing. If you don't feel comfortable, don't ever. And that's what a lot of people don't do. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't. They figure, well, I'm legally allowed to do this. Well, just because you're legally allowed, I'm legally allowed to drive a fucking car, but but I'm not okay to fucking drive it into a bunch of fucking people.
You're legally allowed to do a lot of shit.
Yeah, that doesn't make it right.
The Constitution provides you to do a lot of things.
But if
it also tells me I can tell you're a fucking idiot.
Yep. But if you yeah, that was good you did that. But no, I could never. That was their biggest thing. I said, well, if you ever do that, you're going to have to give up all your guns. And I go, I don't care. That's not my life. I don't care.
Hold on. Before I tell this story, I'm going to need a shot of this.
I said 80 proof. Oh, no.
And you're going to have to.
You hit the reset button.
Hold on. I'll get up.
You might have to put the Vin Diesel mask on for this one.
All right.
And screw it on though. Yeah, screw it up.
So this is actually a good segue into, because before you asked exactly what got when I realized that fitness was supposed to be what I was doing, right? Michael?
Yes.
Are you still here?
Yeah.
You sure?
I was just setting the timer and readjusting.
Swiping right.
No, I stay off Tinder. It makes me depressed. No one ever matches.
And I'd swipe right for you.
Thank you. It's EMTs from New Jersey's with kids. That's who matches with me.
And they probably hang out at Turkey Hill a lot.
Yeah, looks like they're definitely there 3-4 times a day.
And their Chevy Beretta. Check out my kickers.
Neon lights.
Yeah, check out my 12-inch kickers.
I don't know any of those, so I can laugh at that. They hang out at Wawa, probably. Not Sheets.
Don't hang out at Sheets.
Sheets is a glorious fucking place.
Don't hang out at Sheets.
Oh,
you like Sheets more than Wawa?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, Jesse.
Wawa is a dirty truck stop. Sheetz is a glorious place. That's a fine dining establishment.
Sheetz is disgusting.
You walk out of Sheetz, they got the
feeling greasy.
They got the American flag, the
They
flag.
might. Chris,
You walk out of Wawa and there's drug deals going on. And
Right.
half the lights are off.
Yeah.
It's a shit.
You can't figure out
Allegedly.
how to drive in the parking lot.
allegedly.
Horrible.
Or you pull in the Sheetz and there's a bunch of bros on their Gixxers and their Subarus with
Yeah.
their fucking Monster Energy hats.
Which
I
you know
love
what?
Monster Energy, but they don't
You know
talk to
what?
them.
You know what? I'm gonna make a hard turn. I'm gonna make a hard.
We were talking about mental health.
I'm making a hard left turn in my life. If the Fast and Furious crew were to hang out anywhere, it would be Sheetz.
It would be Sheetz.
I like Sheetz more than Wawa.
Yes. There you go.
Wait.
And they have way more gas choices.
Yeah, man. Like
different kinds of octanes.
Like when
and
they
stuff.
have when they have those illegal races and everybody pulls up and they line all their cars
Yeah.
up and Hector's there with his Civics and there's
Listen.
lights everywhere.
Listen, you're
It'd
out.
be
You're,
Sheetz.
you're out.
It wouldn't be Wawa.
Listen, you're out hopping around town. You know, you got your dog in the car. Like, hey, what's up? You know, you go into Sheetz. They have a whole dog section. They have dog treats, dog food. All go to Wawa.
I'd like to make this
Nothing.
clear. My reasoning for liking it has nothing to do with the food at the inside of the store. It's the illegal street racing going on outside. That is it.
And I'll
They
let
might
you know.
have the worst breakfast sandwich ever at Sheetz.
And I will.
coffee.
I will be on record right now.
Yeah, Wawa does beat them with coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like coffee, but I saw the Avengers this weekend,
Don't.
and they had a Hobbs and Shaw trailer before it.
It's going to bomb.
I don't know
You
what the
think
movie's
so?
about.
It's going to bomb.
Listen,
Yeah.
if it was just the movie I thought it was going to be,
It's going to
probably
bomb.
great.
It's going to bomb worse than Baywatch.
Apparently, I love Baywatch. It was a pretty funny movie. Actually.
I liked it.
Yeah,
Nope.
It's good to get stoned and watch.
but it's
No, it's
bad.
not.
Zac Efron looks beefy in it.
I do like Zac Efron.
It's bad when the bad guy is like a mechanically altered.
yeah.
Like it was after I saw that, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is bad. This is like Terminator, kind of weird looking. It's not.
We have
gonna
to
be good.
stop here because I will go down a Fast and Furious
Yeah.
rabbit hole and waste 45
Let's not
minutes.
do that. Let's do that after.
No.
When we have more Natterdays to drink and,
Then we get-
I'm
and the
starting-
cameras are off.
I'm starting.
How many people come to your gym wearing rock shoes? They should be a lot.
A lot, actually. Yeah.
See?
One of my
You get along-
trainers.
He bought bootlegs on
One
the
of my
Well-
trainers who actually just left yesterday. He's pretty into the Project Rock stuff.
I bought a pair. They're glorious.
I won't do it. If you know me well enough, and especially if you're a client of mine, I'm a Nike brand whore. I usually only wear Nike or Levi, and if I'm not, I'm wearing my own shit. I'm fucking Nike loyal.
I stopped
Nike.
Nike not just because of the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, which is I don't like any of either, but their shoes fall apart.
Yeah.
I wore every pair of Adidas pairs I wear, like shoes. The soles will fucking wear off before the whole top of the shoe even anything happens to it. Nike's everything just falls apart.
Yeah, I got a pair of limited Huaraches about a month ago, and the front's falling apart, and I'm pretty pissed.
I switched to Under Armour. I like
can't
Under
do
Armour
it.
stuff,
I can't do it.
but I do like the Under Armour stuff, and I bought that pair of rocks, and they're fucking glorious.
He had the headphones too.
They're super expensive.
Oh my god!
Get a hold of yourself,
They're
sir.
beautiful,
They're super
How's
expensive.
the sound quality?
gorgeous.
They're actually really
What's
good.
it similar to?
gorgeous. Honestly,
Not say Beat because Beat has horrible
Beats. They're the worst fucking.
sound quality possible.
I have a pair of $90 JBLs that are some of the best headphones I've ever had. But
Monster makes one of the best set of headphones.
Well, Monster
Yeah.
makes the best
Yeah.
almost everything.
I had Nixon headphones that were really good.
Nixons aren't bad,
No, I
but
paid
these
like $300
Project Rocks
for 'em.
headphones, I'm telling you, if you
They're
put these
sweat-proof.
on, they're
Yeah.
and you can't hear shit.
Are they
man.
like this though?
Yeah,
They're over the ear.
they're big over the ear.
I'm not, I like Buds,
I don't. My ears are too little, and I'm weird.
but this seems like it'd be a bit much.
No,
working
it's
not.
out. It's not.
No,
Nah.
they're very airy. I've tried them on and I've listened to them. They actually sound really good.
They're nice.
super
How much
fucking
are they?
expensive.
They're like $300.
I would pay $300 for headphones.
But for fucking like gym headphones,
Nope.
man. Yeah,
No.
right. Yeah, you'd pay $300 for headphones for here.
Last time I bought $300 headphones were those Nixon headphones. You know what I used them for? Listening to porn because I lived with my parents. That's what I used. Outside of that, I didn't use them.
Yeah.
For that, I couldn't run with them because they were studio headphones.
I got a $90 pair of JBLs.
I don't even know where they are.
They are. I throw them across the gym. I throw them in my gym bag. I throw them on my big fat head.
Yeah.
They are the best headphones I've ever had. Beats.
I had Skull Candy for a while.
Skull Candies aren't too bad, man.
But the sweat.
It depends on which
sweat,
ones. Yeah, I had
the sweat ruined them.
earbuds, and they would fall out all the time.
I don't
They're
like
not
earbuds at all.
I have weird ear canals or some shit. They don't stay in.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were weird when my tongue was in it.
They were in my ear, you fucking weirdo.
What
were we talking about?
I needed to stop the conversation. I was like, oh my God, we're talking about headphones.
Yeah, but man, listen, it's what makes the
Project
podcast
Rock,
an-
Project Rock shoes.
Project Rock.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What else does he have on Project Rock besides the shoes?
Dude, it's a whole thing.
clothing line.
Backpacks,
Yeah.
clothing
Yeah,
line.
everything.
They're super expensive. The fucking backpack
he's coming out with
is
like a camel bag too. I
$120
think.
fucking dollars.
I have
went
to
to
get
the
a
store.
new Camelback.
So do I.
Mountain biking. You get into mountain biking at all? I love it.
I used to be really into it.
It's awesome.
I'm trying to get back into hiking.
Yeah, I just like
But,
being outside.
yeah.
but which is perfect for mental health. Like, I love going on mountain bike rides, and once again, mountain bike, it's chaos. You're paying attention. You're paying attention. I went over the bars already this year.
My buddies and I were really into it when I moved back home from Jersey. I crashed my car when I found out that the girl I was living with cheated on me. And
Man, what the fuck? Why would she do that? Why would she do that? You know, if I ever fucking met that
I know.
guy,
I only knew about I didn't know about the second one at that point, Jesse.
man, I would have fucking.
Sounds like a horrible person, guys. Sounds like a horrible person.
But I crashed my car the day I found out, and I got a bunch of insurance money, so I bought a dope ass Specialized, and my buddies and I all got really into mountain biking and like got into like trials riding and shit like that for a while.
Yeah,
it was cool.
You could go down a rabbit hole with it. A friend of mine hit Nat, who I want to bring on and actually just talk with him about it, because
He goes
he
for
doesn't
like
stop.
20 or 30 mile bike rides.
He does it all winter
for
long.
Fun.
One of those old dudes that you see me training, he is 68. This dude is out of his mind. He's a cyclist from Emmaus. When he was 66 or 67, he rode the Devil's Ride, 666 miles from like New Hampshire or something to here on his fucking bike, dude.
I know Nat
At
did
67 years old.
one of those ones where it was like
But was he 67?
No, I'm just saying, like those crazy rides where it's like a 48-hour ride and you're not sleeping. And
I can't do that anymore.
He said he was like delirious. I'm like, what's wrong with you? We were just going to Jacobsburg, man.
What happened? Yeah, I told you. He was like, I'll watch his videos, and he's like, I'm just going on like a 30-mile bike just for fun.
But that's Nat, though. He's super competitive.
Yeah,
He's
that's
always
crazy.
been competitive against himself.
Those are the people that take themselves to the next level.
Yes.
Those are the people.
Yes.
You want to talk about living in chaos. You can't begin to imagine. Like,
It's the healthiest I've ever
like
seen
the
him.
David Goggins and people
Yeah.
like that. That dude lives in chaos.
Yeah.
Lives in chaos. He has to be. I can't imagine what the inside of that dude's brain
Did you read
looks
his
like.
book yet?
I'm almost finished. I just got it about a week ago, and I'm
I
almost
bought it
done.
and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
I buy books and they sit over there, and I want to read them.
Still look the part.
Not even that. I
Do
should
you listen to audiobooks?
Audiobooks and do it at work, man.
Yeah.
I should start doing that, but
Especially
I get
it's good. It's good when the fucking author reads this
the
shit.
cookbooks. The cookbooks I always buy because that's it's always there. But like I bought Kevin Hart's book because I saw his interview and like he opened up about like
That interview was incredible.
not Rogan's, the one when he
which
was
one?
pushing the book. He was on Opie and Anthony,
okay.
and he just opened up about how horrible his childhood was, and like it was really what's the backbone of like him doing all this stuff is the continually driven from not going back to that point where he was at.
Yep.
And I got his book, and I don't have time. I don't make time because I can watch. I've watched 42 hours of Game of Thrones in the past 2 weeks, but I can't pick up a book.
The best thing he did in that whole interview, he said he was taught to just never quit.
Right.
And I do that to my kids, and then my wife will yell at me like she'll, I don't think I'm gonna play. No, you signed up. Like I don't care how bad you are at it. You will fucking finish it. I don't care.
You can
That was an
say
amazing interview.
whatever.
And Goggins interview.
The Rogan one.
Yeah.
You could say whatever you want about Kevin Hart. You cannot like his comedy, whatever. You could say that he got corny. It doesn't matter. You cannot disrespect that man's hustle. Other than The Rock, name another
love
human
The Rock.
being
Nobody beats
that is hustling as hard as him.
Yeah.
man.
I think that he might be that he will eventually out hustle The Rock.
I think he will.
I don't think so.
I do
think
too,
possible.
because
no, you know what it is?
Because Kevin Hart's not taking Hobbs and Hobbs type bullshit. He's building other shit behind it. I think Rock's taking way
he's
too many
got
movies.
LOL Network on YouTube.
But it's
now.
a little. I mean, they're friends because of the way that they are.
I'm not saying what The Rock's doing is bad. I'm just saying he said publicly he'll never say no to a movie because he wants his kids to never have to.
What I'm saying is
you know what I mean?
They're
Like
going different routes.
Yeah.
But the good thing about Chris,
I'm just saying what Kevin Hart's building now is going to outlast what The Rock's doing.
He's been pretty good about picking and choosing things that he gets involved with.
Like Kevin Hart started.
So now he's doing a nutrition thing.
Yeah.
And he's doing all that stuff. So he's picking and choosing things, and they seem to all be working out.
Yeah. The Upside was awesome. Did you watch that?
No.
With Bryan Cranston?
But
then he had to drive him? Or no, he was
his caretaker.
Caretaker, yeah.
It was incredible. Well, I shouldn't say
Did
incredible.
You cry?
That's a pretty big word. What?
Did you cry at the Upside?
What?
Did you cry at the Upside?
What?
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't cry.
I think I cried at the.
I think the last time I cried was when A Dog's Purpose, or whatever that fucking movie was that came out like 2 years ago with the golden retriever on it.
See, I'll stay away from stuff like that.
That was tough.
Old Yeller got me as a kid, man. That fucking crushed
that motherfucker.
me.
This is going to be a tough podcast to edit.
Yeah, people. No,
don't edit it.
There's no editing.
There's going to be a lot of segues there.
No, the people that are listening are going to be like, "What the fuck are they trying to do?"
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So mental health.
Yeah. So you got rid of your guns.
We really should. We should make sure we segue into that.
In any way, those guns, those are bad. You can just bring those over. Listen, we can hang them on the wall.
Because we have to. We got to talk about the event we want to do.
Yeah,
we have to make sure we bring that up.
Well,
but
see, I asked you to do this at Skindustry, and I wasn't even had any of this stuff ready. But I always knew I was going to eventually do stuff, and I always thought you would be a great guest. And you weren't even at where you're at now, and you were like, "Yo, dude, like I really want to open up about like mental health." And I'm like, "Dude, I've been where you're talking about. Let's fucking do it 100%." And then when we met up, we discussed what we were going to do. And one of the things that we talked about that what we should get into was like, and we touched on it a little bit. And if we go further, we go further. But like, I've had massive depression issues my entire life. It's been caused by things that happened in my childhood, just with like I had shingles and I had swelling of the brain, and it's just I was always in and out of fucking hospitals. I look at what my mother actually did for me now as an adult, and I'm like, holy shit, the fact that you never gave up on me as a child is insane. That half of her life was dedicated to me not fucking killing myself, her trying to figure out. I've been on a million different meds, and eventually when I was 18 I was like, I don't want any meds anymore. I'm not a med person. I like the whole marijuana aspect for that people are going to because it does help a lot with depression and mood swings and stuff like that. But
not everybody cooperates well with it.
No,
not everybody can.
You have to be this type of specific person that there are people who should be medicated, because I feel like those people are not super self-conscious, or like I'm overly self-aware. So like if I take medicine, I'll be like, oh, it's kicking in now. People who take medicine don't notice that it's kicking in. I can notice, oh, I'm up, oh, I'm down, oh, I need to be regulated, oh, I took too much of that. That makes you crazy when you're on meds, because then you start paying attention to it, and then you're like, well, who am I? And I'm lost now, and like I'm not myself.
A lot of it's just as simple as it sounds. A lot of it's eventually learning how to control it. Yeah, and finding peace within that chaos. Like when I use pot and things of that nature throughout the day, I make sure I use the things that stabilize me appropriately, and then when I want to get stoned, I go home and get stoned. You know what I mean? Like there are many.
You can microdose.
I mean, I have my little remember when RoboCop shot that dude in the dick box.
Yes, this
is my medicine case. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen this box.
I always wondered what was in it.
Nothing.
I always thought it was herbal teas.
Is that a beautiful pelican case?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love pelican.
There's my medicines in here, man. But like when you asked about, and to bring up the event that we were talking about and stuff, let's get into this and let me tell a story for a minute. So like we talked about, talk about like how you were brought up and like what made me realize that fitness was exactly what made everything make sense. So like I grew up in a foster home. I wasn't a foster kid, but I my parents were foster parents, and it wasn't until I actually met the dudes from Valley Prep Meal Prep until I realized that a lot of people don't pay attention to what happens to the biological family throughout foster care. A lot of people just see all these horrible stories in the news about the really horrible foster parents that mistreated foster kids, and that is unfortunate. But there was so much. So my parents had over 80 children in like 30 some odd years throughout our house, and I grew up with strangers my entire life, and a lot of my childhood was taken from me because I was fucking with strangers all the time. Like I never got to be able to experience my parents or my family proper enough. And it sounds like one of those woe is me shit, but it's the reason why I don't fucking play well with others. Like I don't share my food. You want food, order it. We'll take it home.
Yeah, well, how would you be able to when you have all these new people that don't know?
Yeah. And then mistreating my parents, and like I saw so much at a young age. And then my mom broke her back when I was a teenager, and my dad, I mentioned this before we started, but like my dad worked for the Steele and had to go to Buffalo to finish out his pension. He was one of the dudes from the Steele who got fucked out of his pension, and I was forced to kind of be the man of the house because my siblings were gone, and at that time my siblings were all going through their own battles at the time, and I don't want to say anything too bad about my siblings because I've reconnected with a bunch of them, but we didn't really have the best relationship for like over 20 years. So I was kind of forced to be the youngest to take care of a whole bunch. And mental health is definitely something that's been passed down. Like my mom is mentally sick. My mom's an agoraphobic, and she's starting to overcome it. My grandmother, my sister battles some stuff. A bunch of other family members battle some things as well. I don't want to throw too many of my family members under the bus without any of their consent, but there is definitely this hereditary thing. And obviously, if you say that your mother's agoraphobic, and if you don't know what that is, it's when you're afraid to leave your house. Obviously, that's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? To finally get to a place in your life where you're like, you're so mentally exhausted that you don't want to leave your house. You're afraid to leave your house. And thankfully with my daughter, my mom's been able to kind of leave the house a little bit more. But I remember when my wife and I got engaged, it took my mom almost the whole engagement to prepare herself to even come to the wedding. And then she came to the wedding and she was sick in bed for like fucking 3 months afterward because of how sick she was, just to come to her son's wedding, you know? And then, throughout music, once the party stopped with touring, once the fucking lights shut off and like the Motley Crue stopped playing, you know what I mean? And everything slowed down, that's when like the mental health kicked in. And so like 3 years ago, I got married almost 4 years ago. Three Christmases ago. It was Christmas night, and we were at my parents' house as we normally are on Christmas, and it was really mild. It was like warm as fuck, like 3 Christmases ago. Very warm, like in the 70s almost, I think. And I only remember that because of the part of the story. But it was the first time I actually completely let go and lost it. And we got home to my house in the east side of Allentown from Northampton, and I stripped down into my socks and my underwear, and I ran around my quote unquote neighborhood. It's like a dead end street, but I ran around my neighborhood hiding from my wife and her sister in my socks and underwear at like 31 years old, like 32 years old, just running around, not really understanding what was going on, like completely losing my mind and freaking the fuck out and hiding. And then I ended up back on base because in my mind at the time I was like, oh, remember like War back in the day? Like when you would play War as kids? I was like, this is home base. So I ended up back on home base, and they let me in the house, and I skated right downstairs, and my wife didn't come down right away. Thankfully she did when she did, because my wife walked in on me trying to hang myself with towels in my basement. And that was my first aha moment with like understanding something was very wrong. And it only takes that one time. It only takes that one time for something to actually happen to where you understand that something's wrong, because something like mental health has become so saturated with people saying that they have anxiety. I I'm depressed. I have anxiety. Like, and we giggle at it, and it sucks because it's become so saturated. And I don't ever want to take away from anybody's problems, but like, yeah, man, that line at the grocery store really sucked. You know what I mean?
Well, because
are you depressed, or did you just have a really bad day?
And it's because, and I actually went to one of the conferences, and they brought up because of my job and all these things, and there's a lot of people that are using that to kind of cover other shit.
Right.
So now they've expanded the definition of mental health and what's issued as not being mentally health to being depressed.
Right.
Because you grew up in a rich family and now you can't do this, and like,
right.
No, you're not. You're just a fucking spoiled brat.
Right.
You're not but because of they changed the definition when they came out and said, what the fuck was it? 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 people are mentally ill.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't think that's right.
And
I think that's adding too many fucking shit into the thing.
Let's say it is. Let's say it is right. It's not. But
it's not.
Let's say it is. There's still so much that's saturated. And just like everything, like Instagram has made everything so like wide, like so saturated. Like the fitness industry is so saturated with nonsense. But when that moment of me literally like tying towels together and my wife like literally walking in and staring at me with like the towels, not to sound graphic and get too serious about this, but that's the point, like with towels around my throat and like I had it over the fucking like basement like support beams, you know what I mean? Like that's an awakening moment, you know what I mean? And that's when I was at my lowest. I was doing property and project management for off-campus housing in Philadelphia, and I just wasn't fulfilled. And I woke up the next day and I went to the gym, and that Henry Rollins quote was staring at me in my face, in my mind, like that 200 pounds is 200 pounds. And you want to, not to be stupid, but like you want to talk about crying, like I could let go and cry right now thinking about like staring at that moment. Like it's a very vivid moment in my life. And I remember pulling a very weak deadlift, but remember how amazing it felt. And I said, this is it, man. Like fitness has made sense for so long. And we weren't married too long, and she gave me her blessing to kind of leave a very high paying job to chase my dreams of fitness. And if you know anything about fitness, it doesn't pay well. You have to work your fucking ass off to get paid as a personal trainer. It is a goddamn hustle. I worked for 2 facilities. When I first started working for them, I left a very high-paying job to work for free for the first time in my life since I was 13 years old. Even when I toured in bands, I would come home to a job. And like I worked on a fucking dairy farm when I was a kid. Like I grew up working all the time.
You have work ethic.
It's the only attribute that you will ever hear me say I have. In my fucked up mental scape, if you were to ask me what's the biggest thing that you could say about yourself, I would say I have work ethic.
It's what I always say in an interview. I got it from my father.
I won't say I have anything else. Nothing else. I've done so much. Jack of all trades, master of none. But I'll fucking outwork you if I have to. I'll run you into the ground if I have to. And I say that very proudly. And I worked for free for the dudes at Anytime Fitness. And because they couldn't afford to pay me at the time, but I knew that I needed to get into the industry somehow and to learn the ins and outs. And I knew I wanted to be a trainer. I knew I wanted to open up my clothing line and eventually do my own facility. And I've done all that except for open up my own facility. And I met this trainer at the time, and I'm not going to bring his name up, but I met this trainer at the time, and he helped introduce me to fitness and into getting personal training, and I got certified. And now fast forward, like this is about as patty on the back as I get. Like I was nominated for Trainer of the Year. I won some awards in the past with the gentleman that I worked with before, but it connected even more after that first time. So during this transition of when I worked for free, I blew my knee out, and so it was my 3rd knee surgery. And I was just a hair away from needing a knee replacement. And like they needed to take a piece of my hamstring to fix my knee and all sorts of shit.
Oh my God.
Like I told you, hardcore ruined my life, man. And there was a second instance where I was stuck in my recliner. And I remember I was laying there in a Notre Dame jersey because I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, unfortunately. And And it was like right around the beginning of the season, and I was laying in a recliner because I couldn't get out of it because of my knee, and I had the bottle of pills that they gave me and a bottle of Jameson somebody gave me for a gift. And as the story will unfold, obviously, as you could probably predict, my wife caught me in the middle of swallowing a bottle of pills and hammering a bottle of Jameson, and that was the second time I tried killing myself. And that was when I said, hey, fuckface, like, you thought you had it figured out before. This needs to make sense now. And I remember sitting there going, you know, you pulled this deadlift and you told yourself that fitness made sense. And now you're sitting here in this chair and you just, like, it's days later after you tried killing yourself for a second time. And you got to do something to make this work. Like, you left all this money behind to chase your dreams, and now you got to do something. And I remember a couple months later, I did my first group fitness class, and these girls will forever be a part of my mental scape and my memory. And it was the most euphoric moment of my life. Like, everything in my body was just complete release. Like, I'd never felt that way playing a show in front of however many people I played or however little people I played, anything I've ever done as far as that gone. Those 6 girls that I did like a group fitness class for in fucking Whitehall, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? Like, that was the moment where my eyes twisted around and my fucking head straightened out and everything made sense, to where I knew I was fucked up, and I knew that others were fucked up like me, and that this was the place that you needed to go to make it all make sense. And that's when it all clicked for me. That first class of those first like 6 or 7 people for group fitness, I had no idea what I was doing, but it all made so much sense. And fast forward to however many, 2.5 years later now, to all these accolades that I've been able to accomplish and build up into my repertoire, and being able to say I've done these things. I still have so much to learn, but the first thing you'll always hear me say when you sit down for a consultation with me is, what are you here for? Are you here for vanity, or are you here to get better? And if you tell me that you're here for vanity, I'm going to help you just as well as you want to if you're here to just get better, because it's not my place to judge you. But if you tell me that you're just here, if I say, what's your goal? And your answer is, I just want to feel better, you will see the biggest smile on my face, and that's not a fucking corny line. Like, I'm not in this for muscles. I'm not in this for abs. I don't give a fuck about your biceps. I could care less about your abs. Stop posting your shit on Instagram. Stop trying to be an influencer. Show me who you are. Show me what you stand for. And prove to me your worth through your work ethic in the gym as to why you think you need to be there and why you need it that much. And show me how much you think this should help you, because I know if you show me, I'll be able to show you that it'll help you. If that makes any sense at all.
That does make a lot of sense to me. And I don't want to go in to as much detail as you do, because it's not about me. But like, when I was in Virginia, and not a lot of people know this, but I moved home because I got into this incident, and everything that you were saying just triggered all this, which is why I want to share it. But like, I got into this argument and I didn't know what to do, and I just started running through the city, and my brother was there and he was trying to run after me. I think I've told 2 people this story. And I ended up going to a hospital, and I went into the emergency room, and she goes, "What are you here for?" And I said, "I'm going to kill myself," because I knew that they would isolate me, but I also didn't know if that's what I wanted to do. Right. And I didn't know.
Probably a terrifying feeling.
Yeah, I went, and I remember I was cold. Right. I'm never cold, and I was just cold, and they took me into this back room, and they put a blanket over me, and I just was exhausted mentally, and I just went to sleep. There was things leading up to that. Zola had passed that year, I believe. Right, yeah. It's just life.
Zola was a fucking great guy, man.
Yeah, all the things that anyone who's listening to this, all the things that you go through, it's all building up to when you have the breaking point, and that was my breaking point.
Yeah, you can only live in chaos for so long, man.
Yeah, and especially if you're not doing healthy chaos. Right. my friends died. I was back and forth from home. My friends weren't around me. I was in a relationship, and I was ruining that.
Relationship?
And I remember my parents drove down to pick me up, and I didn't know how serious it was till they got there, and then I realized that they drove 6.5 hours at 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
And then I packed my shit and I came home, and I called my therapist on the way home, and she was just like, do you feel like you're going to do anything? And I said, I don't think so. I said, but we need to get back into therapy. And that's another thing, is that I started therapy probably in like 22, 23, and then it's actually what got me sober. And then I haven't stopped working on it. And I didn't think that therapy was corny, but I used to not be embarrassed about it, but I never like full-heartedly push it. And now when I have friends that are going through stuff with like marriages or life and whatnot, I'm like, you should go to therapy.
Do you see a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
What's the difference? The one prescribes medicine.
Yeah, psychiatrist prescribes medicine.
The lady that I see does not subscribe.
So you see a psychologist?
Yes.
So my psychologist fucking saved my life, man. Fitness saved my life, but my psychologist, one of my best friends, Chris Stubbe, shout out to my homie Chris Stubbe, but he put me on to my psychologist, and Ed Lundeen. I'm not afraid to say his name. He's a fucking great guy, and if you need help, he's a great person to reach out to. But I have never been more comfortable with another human being, like exposing exactly who I am and peeling away who I am.
It's weird when you
and
do
I'm
it
not
in
like
there.
that with a psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are so like,
they want to put you on meds.
Yeah, man, and I don't feel as comfortable.
I saw one in high school. I threatened a teacher, and then like
did you go to Nazareth?
No, well, I did, and they asked me to leave, and then I went to Notre Dame.
Did they ask you to leave, or did they tell you?
They
to
called
leave?
my parents, and they said we'd like it if we can't tell you that Michael shouldn't come back next year because we are
But
public.
we suggest it.
But we would really appreciate it if you would just not have him here. So I went to Catholic school and got into it with one of the teachers. And how I interacted in public school, that would have been a normal day, and I would have gotten in trouble.
Yeah.
But in Catholic school, her husband's a lawyer, so they probably talked about it at dinner, and then it became a serious thing, and then the police were involved.
There are some things you can't do at Catholic school.
I was just like, whatever, man.
Listen to Slayer.
Like sell sex toys.
I was gonna say, wear Slayer shirts or anything like that.
So,
nothing.
Cool
shit.
That was the first time I ever had to go to see someone, and that kind of broke the ice. And then I was going, whatever. So, like, I got back into therapy. I see Sarah Dinan in Nazareth. She's awesome. I suggest her to 1 million people. I can walk from the studio up there if I want. I know when I'm doing good because I haven't seen her in a while. And
right.
But I'm trying to get back in to fill her in. I don't like going long enough. I know what it was like because I've been going for over 10 years, so I know what it's like to become dependent on it.
Yeah.
And then I see them try and push space. But if I'm having a bad day and she's like, cool, we'll see you next week, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it's funny you say you can tell when you're doing well because you haven't seen her.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen my psychologist in a minute because the baby came and stuff, and I saw him recently. I was out with my baby and a bunch of my guy friends and their kids as well. We had Dadder Day. Not to be confused with Natter Day. But we had Dadder.
Which is a glorious beer, by the way.
Dadder Day. Wow. Jesse.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear the shirts and shit. Not there. I'm on board.
It's definitely gonna be the studio beer.
You're welcome. We were
for
out,
the summer.
We
you
were
can't
out
drink
at
this in the
Soul, which is Separatist in Easton now, right next to Buy Hair to Die For.
Yeah, I was gonna have them on the podcast,
but Gwen.
But they're not Soul anymore, are they?
No, they're Separatists.
Yeah,
yeah. So we all went out there, and I'm standing there. My baby's in my hand. All my boys are around me. They've got their babies in their hands. My fucking psychologist comes walking in, and I was like, oh, shit. And he looks at me, and he says, hey, Bill, how's it going? And it's like 2:30 in the morning, or in the afternoon. And I just fed Bowie, my daughter. And my daughter's name is Bowie, in case you didn't catch that.
I saw the tattoo in your arm.
And he goes, how's it going? And I'm like, it's going good, man. I'll hopefully I get in to see you soon. And in my head, I'm like, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. I've had like 4 beers. I'm holding my child. I'm at the bar. It's fucking great, dude. Like, you can interpret this however you want, man. You've done an all right job, maybe. I don't know yet. But
it's weird when you run into them in public.
Yeah, it is.
Has having a kid changed everything?
So Bowie has definitely I don't want to sound like that parent, man, because you'll get it, but, and without getting too emotional, she's been the most incredible thing to ever happen to me, man.
Yeah, but you and I can understand that, but people that don't have kids don't get that.
I have a dog.
Yeah, fuck off.
So anyway,
we're not going down that fucking rabbit hole.
This comes back to the mental health thing. You are of no good to anyone if you can't take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And I preach that that's what I preach through fitness, man. And that's why I coach fitness for mental health and then get your body in shape thereafter. You are of no good. Whatever's going on at home, if you've got marital issues, if you had a kid, if you have a dog, maybe your dog's sick. If you're not in the best shape you can't help take care of your sick dog, and you can't take care of your child, and you can't work on your marriage and things of that nature. You are of no good if you can't take care of yourself. My daughter is, and it doesn't help that she fucking looks identical to me. I mean, you've seen pictures of her. She's my like mini me, which is terrifying for her. But she and it was trying. My wife's got a heart condition, and we kind of heard all the what ifs before we went in, and unfortunately, all those what ifs became reality. My wife was supposed to be in a life vest for only 30 days after the surgery, and she's actually been in a life vest for almost 8 months now. She actually goes in this Monday for implant to get a defibrillator put in. So, 30, fuck, how old's my wife? 32 or 33 years old. Getting a fucking...
She's young.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Mike. Getting an implant put in for her heart, so, and that, a lot of that weighs on you, man. You've got some mental stuff going on, and you've got an 8-month-old, and she looks just like you, and it fucking wakes you up, man. It slows you down. Chaos is a whole other fucking type of chaos now, man.
It's I always say that I know how bad it is to argue with me because my daughters argue with me.
Yeah.
And I know how bad it sucks.
How old are your kids?
Well, almost 3 and almost 9.
Both daughters?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to hear that.
Say almost 8. Almost 8. But no, so what happens is like it does change you a lot in the way you think a lot of things.
Yeah.
So going and doing everything that I do and whatever, the first time my daughter like cut her hand and I saw her bleeding, I lost my shit. Yeah. I picked her up and ran down the fucking street.
Yeah.
My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know I know what I'm supposed to do. So I was like, lost my shit. I was like, you need to be the fucking strong one here because I can't do that.
Yeah, Bowie got real sick like a couple of weeks ago. She got like an ear infection and she got like fucking pink eye shit and all sorts of stuff. And it was the first time she was actually really sick, and I was completely distraught over it.
Yep.
I was a mess over it. But we actually picked her up her pair of Bowie Vans today.
I saw.
Yeah, we got her a little. I'm not a Vans guy, Nike. But what up, Air Max? But yeah, they're pretty dope. But yeah, it changes you, and that's what helped change my style of training so that I can dial shit back because I want to be able to be 45 and chasing my daughter down whatever field she chooses to run down. So I'm not like a fucking giant retired like power lifter who can't move anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely
practicing what I preach.
And you don't want to be away all the time,
right?
And miss the fucking important parts.
Yeah.
I said I was working when I owned my business before I started working for this person now, but when I was working all the time because I was under the assumption that, especially my line of work, you could literally work all fucking day long. And it seems like every time you take a break, you're missing something.
Yeah.
Like somebody else is getting money that you could have gotten.
Yeah.
But you click after years and years of figuring out, like, no matter what you do, you're always going to fucking miss something. And it's useless. But the day that she sent me on my first daughter was like, hey, look, she's walking now. I was like, cool. I just bailed some fucking douchebag out of jail that's selling fucking dope to a bunch of kids. And I'm missing my daughter do this. Like, it's not worth the money to do that. And it changes
everything. Yeah. For the last week, she's she's been like looking at me and like saying dada. Like she was saying dada before, and now she's actually like looking at me and she's like a little as cognizant as she could be.
Well, they can, and when they start picking you, like so I said,
Starbucks, like what?
Yeah, wait till you go to like you drop the kid off at daycare or something.
Oh, God.
And you walk in the room and they see you from across the room.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, dude, they yell across the room and you're like, holy shit. Yeah. It's
but now my brother told me, he said that minute his first daughter was born, he said it just changes your entire life.
The minute I found out I was even having a fucking kid, man, it changed my life. Because that's when I knew that, like, we not only did tests to make sure my wife's heart was cool, we did tests to make sure my mind was cool. Because, again, like the gun thing, man, what kind of responsible anything are you if you're going to bring some human into this world?
Get a big dog.
If you can't write. Yeah. I just vomited.
Take the guns out. Get a big dog.
But
I always like to look at those situations, and like that's the thing too, is because I know there's people listening that might be going through similar struggles, and then they beat themselves up a lot. But if you're acknowledging to the point where you're removing things from it, and you're taking steps to get help and going to therapy, and like
you're doing fucking good, man.
Yeah, like I look at things now where I'm like, all right, like because the other thing too is with so much with therapy, like I try and explain to people, like you build tools, and then you're given these tools, and you go over practicing the tools, and you know, like I used to.
This beer makes everybody burp. Whole time we're talking like.
He called it in the beginning.
I did.
But like, they'll be in situations now where I'll be having a panic attack, and I'll want to reach out to my therapist, but then I'll just remember our conversations, and I'm like, all right, well, she's telling me to do these breathing exercises. So then I start doing the breathing exercises. I start calming down, and then now that's what I do when I get in those situations.
So how are your breathing exercises?
I haven't done them in a while.
So how? All right. So I. Well, I think we talked about this when I saw you at Staley's, but like I black out, and there's two versions of blackout panic attacks I get. I get in either like a blackout panic attack to where I physically black out, like I pass the fuck out, or like almost where you're drunk and you kind of like are just like blacked out, but you're still kind of doing shit, but you don't really
like a
know.
wine drunk.
Yeah. It's a fun drunk. So it's like it could go either way. 9 times out of 10, I'm passing out, and I'm because asthmatic.
Yeah.
So that doesn't play well with the anxiety, and I'll start freaking, and it's when my mind shuts down. Because if I'm not living in chaos, I fucking geek, and that's when the shit hits the fan. And it's usually when I get home, and you know I kiss the baby goodnight, and before the baby, it was just immediate. Like I'd be in and then out. But you know, I'll kiss the baby goodnight, and I'll write the programs for the next day. And in the middle of it, I'll just start fucking freaking out and getting jittery, and she'll know. And 9 times out of, like 3 nights out of the week, maybe I'll actually physically black out. Like I'll pass out. Like I got tested for seizures and all sorts of shit. But it's like my anxiety is just that bad.
Yeah.
But as stupid as it sounds, I can't even think of the company name, so I'm not even gonna try and plug a company. But I googled like anxiety necklace or some stupid shit like that, just reaching for any tool that can help me, because like you said, the more that you're trying to help yourself, the better it is.
Yeah.
And this it's like a whistle and it's designed to where if you take a deep breath in and blow through, you get approximately 10 seconds of an exhale through this device, and if you do it X amount of times, you become relax because you were focusing on nothing but your breath.
Yeah.
So this is perfect, like for breathing exercises for somebody who can't, like breathing exercises sound so simplistic, but it's not, man. Like as a trainer, I watch it all the time. Like, come on, breathe.
Yeah.
You see people turning as purple as
it also
so if you can have a tool that makes you actually go,
it's also difficult to
it's
like,
perfect.
Like when you're in that scenario and you have anxiety and things are going on, like it's hard. Like I remember the last time I did the breathing exercise, like I had to sit on the side of my bed.
Yeah.
And like just sitting down on the side of my bed, and I'm just like, this is like, what the fuck? Like I don't want to do that. My whole body's telling me to jump out a fucking window or go for a 9-mile run, and then I just sit there and it's like, breathe in, breathe out. And then she, I had it written down where it was like, do it for 5 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 2 minutes or whatever. Yep. And then she also said that because I quit smoking, and she said that a lot of the reasons why people are addicted to smoking outside of the nicotine is when they're like, oh, well, it calms me. She's like, if you would go stand outside in front of your studio and take as many deep breaths as you do as drag as a cigarette, she's like, you'd still get the calming sensation. It's the breathing. And then I was like, that makes total sense.
It's like coffee for me.
Yeah.
You said you didn't drink coffee, but
no, I don't like coffee. I've tried everything.
I love coffee.
Coffee calms me down. Coffee, like that, like, and that warm. I don't like cold coffee. Cold coffee's, that's not for me. It's for yuppies and hipsters. I can't do it. But hot, just that fucking hot coffee, just.
But even just having an arsenal of things to do in your tool bag, and I've learned so many over the years, and I enjoy helping my friends out. I enjoy helping my friends out who are like, I'm really fucking having an anxiety attack. Like, my friend's going through a lot of shit, and she's just like, I could tell she was in a bad place, so I called her, and then we talked, and then I texted her and followed her. How you doing? All right, well, like, deep breaths, like, it's, and then like the worst thing to tell, not the worst thing, but like somebody doesn't want to hear with anxiety is like, it's not going to last forever. It's going to be over.
My favorite thing is to tell, I have a client who, and I can't obviously talk about who it is, but I have a client who suffers like almost just as badly as myself, if not worse, maybe. But and I watch it, and I'm always telling them to stay ahead of it.
Yeah,
stay ahead of it.
That's huge.
Don't let it stay ahead of you.
That's
like,
huge.
Picture, my whole thing is mental. Like, I'm not wired like a lot of other people. I envision a lot, and I look at the way my mind works. Like Pay It Forward in that movie with Kevin Spacey, right? Is that the idiot that's in that? Pay It Forward, where they.
I don't know. He touched a bunch of kids.
Allegedly.
Listen, man, Catholic school. Yeah. But like, it's like the spiderweb effect, and if that spiderweb effect isn't constantly moving, you know what I mean? Like, I can't organize chaos. Like, I can't do it. So my whole thing is like, keep that moving, because you can't let all this fucking catch up. You have to stay ahead of it.
The other stuff too is to give yourself credit. Like, and I'll say it to him a lot too. Is I'll say it to in my therapy session where like I'll have something happen, and then it'll be 6 months. Like, old Michael, and that's how I like to refer it, is used to deal with an episode of depression for 6 to 8 months. Yeah. And then that's when my parents like, what are we going to do?
It moves in cycles.
And then now I got it down to where, because I'll say to him, like, we won't be doing shows and stuff. And I'm just like, I'm having some shit going on, and I know what's going on, so I know it's coming to the tail end of it. So we're looking at maybe the longest shit's gonna fuck me up is like 6 days, even with like how I'm dealing with
it's like a period,
the death of my best friend. Like, literally,
not as coppery.
Literally, the smell is literally the hardest thing. The hardest thing that I ever had to deal with. And I have some people questioning, like, you're not dealing with this, and like, you should be hurt more than you are. And I'm like, no, I'm weathered by death. I have massive depression. I have a million fucking tools in my backpack, and I am not going to sit in this fucking studio and pay the rent to be a drunk fucking piece of shit and do what I used to do and why I had to stop drinking, to the point where I've rebuilt myself to the point where I can drink.
So when did you get to the point of where you realized you can drink again?
It was weird. It was like,
I've been wanting to ask you that forever. I've known you. If anybody listening, Mike and I have known each other for, I don't know, maybe 15 years.
I try and tell everybody, it's like if you woke up every day and did 10 push-ups, and only 10 push-ups, you knew you could do 10 push-ups. For fucking 10 years, you just did 10 push-ups every day. And then when you got to 10 years of doing 10 push-ups, you were like, I could probably do 15.
Okay.
Would you try and do 15, or would you do 10 push-ups the rest of your life? I wanted to use everything I've learned from growing up in the last 10 years of that sobriety and been like, and I didn't go to meetings and shit. I went to therapy and I learned shit. And then I also realized that I don't have a fucking drinking problem, man. I like to fucking... I told him too. I'm like,
You
sometimes
like to have an outlet,
I like
a release.
what I realize now is that I have to get it all out.
Right. Yeah.
I have to get it
release.
all out.
Yeah.
I have to get it all out because when I get it all out, you can ask him when I'm like, hey, I'm running and doing stuff. This is working that's best. But when I'm not getting it out and I'm sitting around and I'm drinking and doing too much stuff and doing dumb shit and I keep burying it all. And I'm not talking about the booze.
Right.
I'm burying everything down. I'm not going for jiu-jitsu. I'm not going for runs. I'm not getting it all out. I'm the type of person where blah, it needs to come all the fuck out. That's why I tell everybody my business. I could talk to somebody for 5 minutes. Oh yeah, I did this and that and that and that. It's just I need it all out.
Like I said, when I get home and I have those blackout panic attacks because I have to stop.
Yeah.
You can't stop. That's the vicious cycle. That's why people like you and I are maniacs.
Yeah, so if I'm just sitting around drinking, and I'm building it up, it's got to pop. So when it pops, then it's like, fuck. So like and like that's the thing too is like it kept building up when I wasn't drinking. I go to my brother's wedding and I'm not drinking,
right.
and everyone else is having beers around me. I got to go back to the hotel room because I'm uncomfortable. Not because I want to drink. I'm uncomfortable because I can't have a moment with my family because I'm telling myself I'm an alcoholic piece of shit.
Yeah, right.
So like after you take those moments for 10 years, I'm like, I'm fucking done, man. I don't want to feel bad about something that I did dumb 10 years ago, and I've started a business. I grew the fuck up. I mean, I've never stopped working on myself. I've landed the best job I've ever had and have my life the most it's ever been together a year after my best friend died. So the fact that like I can pull my entire life together and be as strong as I can in the worst possible points of my life, I can have a fucking beer.
You can have a natter day.
I can, and
It's
I
natter
will.
days.
I'll drink
Natter
to that.
days to your best friend.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like it never had anything to do with the drinking.
So that's a good point for us to. Last time I saw you at Staley's, shout out Staley's. If you've never been to Staley's, you're fucking up.
The last time I was at Staley's.
No, well,
No, it was before that. I was on a bus trip when I was 22, and a state trooper
You did a
almost
bus trip to Staley's?
punched me in the face.
But
Yeah,
what-
it was like a St. Patty's Day bus trip.
Actually, I think I remember you saying that we were there. But I was gonna say when we were there last time I saw you when we were there, and we discussed about how we should get together and maybe do the collab T-shirt with Fear No Iron.
Oh, yeah.
And Never Again. For anybody who's listening, I also have a clothing company, just like, and actually,
When did you want to give yourself the headache of running an apparel company?
How about this? I'm gonna stroke your ego so hard right now. You are one of my biggest inspirations for wanting to start a clothing line.
Why?
Because if a fucking idiot like you can do it, so can I.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's a motivational statement of the day.
No, I'm serious, man.
I push anybody. It's such a creative outlet.
It's fucking horrible, man. And
It's
I
a
don't
tough fucking
and I don't
business.
do the website shit like Reject. Shout out Lehigh Valley Apparel Creations. Some of the best people I know. I've known Reject for over 20 years. And if you need an actual rad, that's who Mike goes to. Shout out to both of them, obviously. But it's I don't do the website thing. The gentleman I worked with before, it was always just like I'm not the snake oil salesman, especially with the way I sell training. It's the most uncomfortable part of my job. I'm not a salesman, but you have to be. You got to eat. You know what I mean? But I come from punk hardcore, and punk hardcore taught me to stay true to my roots. And when you see a band like we talked about Hatebreed before. Imagine seeing Hatebreed when Satisfaction was out before like everything else. It's just Satisfaction, or like Under the Knife or whatever the fuck. And you're seeing Hatebreed and like there's 150 people in the room. There's barely anybody there. This is however many years ago. And you go out to their van afterwards because you could go see Hatebreed at their fucking van afterwards. And you talk to Hatebreed and you're like, dude, that was fucking dope. Like that was a good show, man. And you get to have this interaction, and you pick up their demo, and you buy their demo from them out of their van, and they give you a T-shirt on top of that because you actually made a connection with them. That's the way I model Fear No Iron. There's a lot of companies in this area, and this is actually, it's funny, this is the first time we're talking about Fear No Iron. There's a lot of companies in this area that do.
Let's see, we've done so far 2.5 hours.
Meanwhile, you're wearing my goddamn shirts, and I'm wearing my fucking shirt. But there's so many fitness companies in this area that, other than my wrestling shirts, that steal other logos. And you mentioned something about that before. That they like people who take other logos. I know a local fitness company, and I'm not going to say who they are, but I know a local fitness company that runs a clothing line. Did you ever see those fitness ads or like ads or whatever for like those canvas prints, and it's like fucking hustle hard, and there's like a $sign like in between it and something corny like that? Like, I know somebody who
those would be like Walmart shirts,
right? So like, I know somebody who takes those canvas like prints and puts them on shirts and sells them as their clothing line. Ooh. And I refuse to do that. I'd rather not have a website, and I'd rather not look like a snake oil salesman. I don't speak in superlatives. I will never do that. I will never be that type of individual. Good to you if you do. If it works for you, that's fantastic. Whatever works your hustle, works your hustle. That's not the type of individual I am. I'd rather hustle off of Instagram. I'd rather meet people in person. I'd rather keep that punk rock mentality. I'd rather you meet me, come fucking work out with me. Like, whatever, like, come meet me, know who I am, know what I stand for, know why I do what I do, know why I make a shirt that says be kind, be well, act like you give a shirt, and then on the other end make a shirt that says fuck humble, stay savage. Understand why I am the contradiction that I am. Understand why I push what I push. Understand why I preach PMA while being aggressive. You can be completely alpha in what you do, but also understand that you can be beta by terms of society and actually give a fuck. You know what I mean? And I'd rather have that punk rock mentality of selling t-shirts out of my trunk and hustling demos out of my trunk than fucking pushing a goddamn website. So when you ask me what made me want to do it, you fuckface, like you're one of the people that I knew who started a clothing company, and I was like, dude, if Fauerbach can fucking do this, and I don't mean this as a joke, like, you did it, man. Like, I watched you hustle it, and you've been doing it the same way as I model myself. You've been keeping it real. You've been doing it the way that you wanted to do it. You've never done what anybody else has done.
No.
You've kept it real. You know what? Like, it took you forever to put your shit bagged and tagged because you finally realized, hey, maybe this is the extra little cushion I need. And it's funny because when I just saw Reject, he was like, hey, idiot, you should probably bag and tag your stuff now. We can do that for you. And I was like, all right, man, I'll keep it real. And I'll keep it bag and tag.
I started bagging only because I bought clothing online and I wanted to model it after, like, I was always just like, well, I want the experience that I get buying something from somebody else.
I mean, you gotta make it look good.
It's a motherfucker.
Whether you're buying stuff out of a trunk or not, it's still gotta look good.
But like the other thing I did too is like now I just try and do different stuff for like our buddy Furby. Like I was like, yo, dude, if you make like 100 fucking, because he makes those stickers that are on like the microwave and shit. Yeah. I'm like, dude, if you make like a bunch of those graffiti style stickers and put your fucking Instagram name on it, I'll throw them in with the t-shirts. And then I bought rabbit's feet. I bought like 120 rabbit's feet, dyed ones.
They smelled?
I had to Febreze them because they just smelled like fucking dye. But now I give everybody a rabbit's foot.
When did you do that?
Last year.
Yeah, what shirt was that for?
It wasn't even for. I did I brought back a couple of old shirts and did a convention, and then like lost my ass on it because nobody really bought anything. So then that's why I do all the pre-orders.
That's always fun, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Worst one was New Jersey.
Like the wrestling shirt. It sucks because it did so well and they were ripoffs, and I'm like, oh, motherfuckers! I've been putting my heart and soul into these original designs, and y'all bit off of ripoffs.
Yeah, but I don't think it's because it's a ripoff. I think it's childhood.
Yeah, man. It was.
Like I saw that red and yellow, I was like, damn. Then I was like, yo. Then he's got the Randy Savage shirt. I was like, dude, fucking Randy Savage.
But I mean, when we were at Staley's and we were talking about doing this collab shirt, so again, for anybody who's listening, Mike and I were saying that we. You know, obviously we just opened up a mental health a bunch, and this is going to be our introduction into something hopefully that will be really good for this area, provided that, you know, it works and it goes through. But regardless, I still want to do a collab T-shirt. Never again and fear no iron.
Yeah.
We were talking about having like that old school bill. With like the animals kind of squaring off at one another.
It makes even more sense cool. now after opening up.
It would be.
It's just it's fucking two things
and
going head to head.
So so Mike and I really want to do an event where we do awareness for mental health, and a lot of the proceeds, everything outside of what would cost for the vendor to be there, proceeds would go towards mental health, and we would make sure we did our research properly to make sure that it goes to who it actually says it's going to. So if you listen to this and you actually want to be involved, make sure you contact myself or Jesse and Mike so that we can get you involved with this. But hopefully by midsummer, and Mike, I've done a ton of work on this already. I know we haven't talked much about it since Staley's, but I've got a ton of vendors who are interested. My buddies at Concrete Barbell, the powerlifting gym in Whitehall, they're talking about wanting to come and do stuff like truck pulls, like ambulance pulls and fire truck pulls and shit
I used to do the airplane pull.
Nice.
We used to do that, and then they stopped doing it.
Trying to come?
I'll do it. No, I did it.
You got to fix his hips first.
No, I can do airplane pull.
I'm gonna work your hips, Jesse.
The last year.
Can you wear that Hobbs mask when we do it?
I will. The last year they did the airplane pull. I think it was for muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
At the airport, I joined up with the Lehigh County Jail, and we actually won.
Nice.
We won, and it was like we were all excited to go back the next year. We got shirts made up and shit, and then we're like, no, we're not doing that anymore. The plane sits there at the airport, off to the side, and it doesn't do anything.
You know what we could do too is they have a hall that you can rent at the airport. I have a really good friend of that's related to my brother's wife's family.
Yeah.
And she does stuff for the March of Dimes, and she helped me out with the jokes and chokes. And I saw her on Easter, and she was telling me all these venues that'll let you do stuff for free.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of venues in contact already, especially because of liquor license and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're willing to just cut their overhead and kind of just pay for costs. So again, any vendor who's willing to kind of put themselves out there, obviously this is good publicity for anybody and marketing for anybody who want to be involved. My whole thing is nobody talks about mental health in this area.
No.
Especially in such an industry like fitness. And there's not enough going around. It's so taboo still, and it's fucking ridiculous. It's 2019. Everybody can be who they want and talk about what they want, but yet nobody can talk about how they're mentally ill. So my whole thing is I'd love to team up with somebody like your fucked up self.
Yeah, I'm in.
And I say that with love, so that we can spread.
I think we can.
Awareness as much as possible.
I think we can take everything from the charity, everything from the T-shirt sales, and I mean, we could definitely raise a shitload of money, and then we just have to find a charity to give it to, then either change it up every year,
do live telethon kind of thing. We'll do the live podcast, get some bands involved. Shout out Trouble City All Stars.
We should also do a like when they used to do.
I don't like his face already. I don't like the way his face looks already.
We should do like the hotline calls, where like they have everybody, and then you like Jerry Lewis used to do those like.
Well, yeah, I mean, as silly as it sounds, there's stuff out there right now like Venmo and Cash App and stuff where you can actually we can make this a lot more like relevant and easy and quick.
So like, say we did this, what we're doing now, but then we did it.
We have a bunch of beefs with their shirt off.
Well, no, we could do it where we have.
Wait, what?
We have people come in.
What, Jesse?
Who was that?
So, let's say we rotate a third guest in, and then or like a fourth guest in, and then they share their story, and then we can have people call in,
and in the background we'll have bands playing and
anonymously share their stories and whatnot.
I mean, it's definitely something that, like I said, we've got a bunch of vendors lined up already who are interested. It's just trying to figure out the bullshit behind it, and hopefully we can get it taken care of.
I'm down, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to move forward. I'm excited that you wanted to come on. I know we talked about doing this several times, and
it's been a while.
I told him about your story, and I know I wanted it to get serious, and sometimes in order to get serious, you got to loosen up a little bit, and that's where like the fucking around comes in. And this is hands down one of my favorite podcasts. A lot of times,
I appreciate that.
No, man, because we're very similar. We're very similar with everybody's struggle mentally is different, but it's all similar in the same aspect of just like you need to keep going and get to, like when we talked about earlier where I said like, dude, when you're down in that water drowning or you're in that basement or you don't want to be where you want to be, like you have to work to get up, and you might not get up to that light now, but like I look at where I was when I was in high school, and then I look at where I was when I acknowledged that there was fucking problems, and then I would look at where I was now, and like that was a fuck ton of work. But the fact that I put in all that work, I'm alive, and my worst days are never going to be as bad as that fucking time in Virginia.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I want to thank you for sharing your story, because not a lot of people open up about this stuff. And when you told me you were going to,
I've never even really opened up to most of my closest friends.
That's what I'm saying is like when you were like, look, like, because I think I put out the Ray one, and you're like, look, man, like I have this shit going on. I want to talk about it. I think this is the correct format. And I'm like, it is. But I'm glad that people are noticing that I'm just being honest with who this show is and having people on here and talking to them like regular people. So like, I was excited to the fact that you noticed that that's what the fucking show is. It's just, we're talking.
And if you weren't paying attention to besides you guys, if you're watching or watching and you weren't seeing anything behind the scenes, my boys in Valley Prep Meal Prep are here because they want to get involved.
I wanted to get in. There's so much we missed.
I know they want to get involved in they're doing some video stuff with me because they want to get involved in the mental health stuff as well, because it's a good angle of something that nobody touches base on. Obviously, I work with them for fitness, and shout out Valley Prep Meal Prep. If you're looking for a really good meal prep company in the area, look them up, valleyprep.net. But God, I feels weird giving plugs. I'm not used to that. But
it's awkward.
It is. But they're good people, and I stand by them through and through. And they really they believe in the mental health aspect, and it's great. Like you said, it's great that I can find these people. I was attached to somebody before for so long that wouldn't allow me to actually be who I wanted to be as a trainer. And now that I can actually be the head of training for any time and represent a club that I believe so much in, and come on platforms like this where gentlemen like yourself that I've known for so long, probably like I said 15 years, and Jesse, who I'm sure I've met before, but I've just become to know tonight, and be able to open up like this and then bring people like Valley Prep in to kind of showcase some stuff as well, and we can do this event. I think it's all good things, and I don't want to cut you off or close you off, but just to close myself out, if this isn't a sales pitch, this isn't a pry to get you to come in and see me as a personal trainer, but if you're in the area and you, even if you want a free consultation, because we do free consultations all the time, but if you're in the area and you think that fitness might be your outlet for what you want to help take care of mentally, medication and therapy help with everything. Don't ever be afraid to try those things, and I mean that wholeheartedly. But come in and give fitness a try. Come try one of our boot camp classes. We do free week trials. Come in and try a free consultation and let us put you through a workout. Find out how much fitness can actually help you out. Find out how much that deadlift, that poetry that I was talking about earlier, can actually speak to your soul and actually put your mind at ease and actually teach you what you can actually do. Find jujitsu. Find running. Find something. You don't have to do it through me, but fucking find something. Not to quote something that's been so overused, but find it and let it kill you. But in a good way, not in a way that we're talking in a bad way. Find it and let it blanket you.
Yeah.
Seriously, just let it cover you and enjoy every fucking goddamn second of it. Create your own chaos.
It's true. I mean, I do it. With now, like I did one serious jiu-jitsu class, and I got it. I was like, this is creative, this is endless, and you're also learning how to choke people. I'm like, so it's creative, it's creative, it's beautiful, and it's violent. And I was just like, I texted Zach afterwards, and I'm like, yo, dude, I'm like, this is crazy. And he goes, people go down a rabbit hole. You can get completely 100% addicted to it.
It's funny, like people.
I couldn't go last Monday. I was pissed.
People talk about like types of trainer, and I always say there's two types of trainer. There's a trainer who says you can do it, and there's a trainer who says you better fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I always say you can take a wild guess which one I am. I'm obviously the latter. And my favorite part of the job is that, because I get to come into work every day and wear joggers and shorts and fucking yell at people. And help people get better mentally and physically. So,
well, I'm excited to do all the projects, and like I said, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. Nice meeting you, Jesse. Thanks for having me on.
There was definitely 3 or 4 times where you could have dodged the telling any of your stories that you did, and I appreciate you opening up.
There's plenty of more. Hopefully I come back on and we talk
no, what I want to do too is I want to have Valley Meal Prep on, and then we'll have the both of you guys on together.
Yeah. We can talk about the projects we're working on with them.
And what's I'm gonna make you plug yourself now, you dirty boy.
I'll do
What are all your social medias? Where can anybody find out how to get a hold of you for training or to see your abs?
If you will never see my abs, because I don't do that. Maybe one day, on like Amateur Night at Platinum. But my name's Bill Lohr, Lohr, and you can find me at Instagram, Bill_Lohr, LOHR, or you can look up Fear No Iron. It's just Fear No Iron on Instagram. And other than that, I always plug my phone number. If you want to reach out for a consultation for fitness, it's 484-838-9016. I'm a firm believer that if you have a dial-out number, you are not keeping it real with what you do for a living. So if you want to set up a consultation, or if you even want to talk about mental health, or if you need help with something, please feel free to reach out to me on any platform.
And what gym are you at? Anytime Fitness?
Anytime Fitness in Emmaus. Shout out to those guys for being probably the best people. And honestly, after all this, I gave praise to my wife for being able to let me do what I do for a living, but I also want to give a big shout out to my current trainer, Megan, for probably being one of the best things that happened in my career. She stepped in and really helped pick up our programming, and she fucking gets it. And it's really hard to find people in this industry and something with Instagram that really promotes so much bullshit. Somebody who actually fucking gets it. So it feels nice to actually work with somebody for once that actually fucking gets it. So shout out to my homie Megan.
Cool. You can listen to all the podcasts and this podcast on, I always get this wrong. It's Never Again Radio on iTunes. It's Never Again Studio on Instagram. It's Never Again Studio on Facebook, and NeverAgainClothing.com to pick up any of the apparel. Thank you again. And I told myself that we would never do a podcast over 2 hours, and we almost did 3. But
Jesse's losing his mind.
You have to when you got to go deep. So I'm excited to do one again.
That's what she said.
Deep.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, love you. Bye.